What's up, guys? It's Hoops with JV. It's your man Jad. I'm here with my brother Jordan Vasquez, Uncle Lou, Uncle. And today we're going to discuss a few topics such as the Houston Rockets, the OKC, the Denver Nuggets. Are they the top contenders in the West? Memphis Grizzlies, the Jared Jackson injury. The Boston Celtics with the shift and balance of the roster. Where do they go from here? We're also going to discuss Cooper Flagg in his Mavs debut and his upcoming season. And can OKC repeat this year? So before we get into that, make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you keep up with the daily topics. And yeah, so let's start. So obviously, last episode we said that, with Kevin Durant being signed to the Rockets, what do you think of the move that Houston is?
I love the move, actually, being honest. Like, if you look at it this way, they got rid of an inconsistent Jalen Green, especially after his playoff performance. And although you had to get rid of a 3-and-D forward, which is Dylan Brooks, but in exchange for that, you get an all-time great Kevin Durant, who we know is a pure scorer at like 7 foot, incredible dribbling skills, and I think anyone who would trade for Kevin Durant is a win.
Yeah,
but is he healthy? Is he playing healthy?
Yeah, he is.
He's
Yeah,
pretty
he is.
Okay, yeah.
I think the reason why the Suns just blew it this year is because of team chemistry, and
Yeah.
I think like I said, like in the previous episode, like it's so hard to have 3 players on the same team playing the exact same style.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think with the Houston thing, I think this is perfect for Kevin Durant. You've got especially you've got a system. You've got the right pieces. All they were missing was a scorer.
Yeah.
Because if you look back, that Golden State series, the fact that they went 7 games, they just needed that little bit of offense. The absence of Jalen Green kind of tipped the scales towards Golden State. That's why you could
totally
see.
agree. Yeah,
they couldn't make a run. So if you add in Kevin Durant, disciplined, can score over anybody, he adds offense to that team. I think as long as Houston's healthy, I think they can make some noise in the West. It's just and I don't think they've added more pieces other than that. They've added some size.
Aside from re-signing Steven Adams,
You got Clint Capella.
Yeah, you got Clint Capella again. Again, like just the starting 5 itself, having Van Fleet, who just signed a contract extension. Then you have Kevin Durant. You have Thompson. You have another forward who just signed another extension, which is Jabari Parker as well, a developing talent. And then you have oh my God, I wish other teams would have gotten him. Steven Adams, decent center. That whole that lineup alone is pretty scary.
Yeah, they're pretty young, and I like that. Like we said the last time, they've got a squad of young talent with these veterans like Van Fleet, Kevin Durant, Steven Adams.
Oh, and to add up, I totally forgot about how could I forget the Dylan Brooks replacement. You have Dorian Finney-Smith, which is for me, I prefer his defense more rather than Dylan Brooks.
Yeah, especially he's got length. He's got extra length.
He's got extra length, and I like his shooting ability more. But let's see how he works with how he fits with the Houston Rockets. Yeah, although as you said, like the Houston Rockets play in a system. Well, since they're being coached by one of the coach that built the Celtics, which is Ime Udoka.
Yeah, Ime Udoka. Yep.
Yeah, like oh my God, like he's actually a good coach. Being honest, like the season before, like in the 2023-2024 season, you can see that the roster itself was developing when Udoka got a hold of the team. When he got hired after being fired from the Celtics, he was able to shape this team into a talent one. Like you can see that there's potential because like at that season, they almost got into the play-in.
Yeah.
And they
Imagine
they
that.
won like
Yeah.
11 in a row after like having a bad start in the season with Uruga, and
Yeah.
next thing you know, the next season, which is the last season that just ended,
Yeah, they ended up in the.
they ended up being number 2.
Yeah.
And on the West, which is, we all know, like, playing in the West side
It's hard.
is harder than playing in the East.
Yeah.
So to become number 2 after not being the
Yeah.
playoffs for multiple years,
Yeah.
especially after Harden and Chris Paul disappearing and Westbrook, like,
They've started from
just to come back into playoff picture, being number 2, that's a
Yeah.
huge jump.
It says a lot.
It says a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Back to your thing about the Dorian Finney-Smith, adding him and getting rid of Dylan Brooks. I like that move because not just the defense, but I think in terms of size, in terms of length, and you've
Yeah,
got a more reliant shooter in Dorian Finney-Smith than Dylan Brooks.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like, if you look at it this way, like, if you saw the Dorian Finney-Smith's time with the Lakers, you can see how the Lakers were using him either as a center or a power forward along with Rui Hachimura, and like, he was a perfect fit in
Yeah,
that system,
yeah.
like playing as a big and
Yeah.
then guarding perimeter defense on the post or either
Yeah.
outside the paint.
Solid player.
He's a solid player.
Yeah, he's a
and
solid
yeah,
player.
I really appreciate those type of players, because like, these are players who may not be an all-star, but they bring impact to your
Yeah.
team.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Like the one thing, like, because we mentioned Houston wasn't done. Now, the one thing I've noticed in the past, when you see big names go to like a different team, you expect all these random big names in the free agency market sign, because they can see the vision
Yeah.
of what that player's trying to do in a team. Like, for example, when Lakers, when they first signed LeBron James, you saw all these really impactful players
Yeah.
Yeah.
go to that team. Like for example, remember the Cavaliers? They traded for Kevin Love.
Yeah.
They signed like Shawn Marion. They signed all this stuff. Now you look at the what Houston has done by getting Kevin Durant. You see they've added size. They've added the backcourt. They've got size in the center position.
I mean, I feel like the reason why everyone started seeing them as actual contenders is because of how much Sengun changed within one season.
Yeah.
Like last season, I mean, although the 2023-2024 season, people were actually hoping he would actually be an all-star from that point on.
Yeah.
But like, this season that just ended was a huge jump from him, because the way of his play style, it's like, it really reminds me of Jokic.
Yeah.
His play style, his ability to score on the post,
Yeah.
his passing ability, and somewhat he has these the perimeter shots.
Yeah, I
He can
don't see.
shoot for a big guy.
Yeah, I don't see why he won't be an all-star this season. Even though I'm pretty sure he can be an all-star this season.
I mean, especially having Kevin Durant, like,
Yeah.
oh my god, like that's an easy assist for you.
Yeah, like it's just I think basically just the one move of replacing Jalen Green with Kevin Durant. That's just that. I think that's more than enough. Adding the extra centers really does help their defense
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
Because outside of Sengun, you had Steven Adams, and then outside of Steven Adams, you have Clint Capella. Obviously, another move that we didn't realize, they waived off Jock Landale.
Yeah, another. Although, for me, like, they have a lot of players coming in, like especially after the draft and stuff, and I feel like getting rid of Jack Landale will give their new players some time to develop on court, because
Yeah.
like, you can't have all of these experienced guys on one team
Yeah.
and not being able to let the new players come in and nourish and develop.
I don't recall him ever playing a minute in Houston.
The season before,
Yeah, I saw a bit of it. But
yeah,
not
I
as
saw.
much.
Yeah, I saw a glimpse of him on the court.
Yeah.
But he can play.
Yeah, no, he.
I mean,
I used to follow him back in when he was in NBL with the Melbourne United team. He was
Yeah.
amazing.
he is.
He was like the Tim Duncan of that team. And I hope it works out for him in the next team that he's going, because he's a really solid player. It just sucks that they had to make room for more
Yeah,
veteranship.
Yeah.
But you obviously tell Houston's trying to go all in next season. Now that the fact that you have Kevin Durant, so instead
Yeah.
of, like we said, that 5-year rebuilding window,
Yeah.
you've now shrunk it down to 2.
I
because
mean,
now
if
have
you look at
Kevin
it this
Durant.
way, whatever players they have now, they're stuck with that lineup because, one, they gave a lot of money to multiple players they gave so many extensions, in which I think they can't afford to add any more big names
Yeah.
into their team,
Yeah.
because you have Van Fleet, Kevin Durant, Sengun, and Finney Smith, Steven Adams, and Jabari Smith Jr.
Yeah.
In which, like, the money that they're getting isn't a joke. Like, these are big like,
budget. Yeah.
yeah, it's a big budget, but then again, you see the type of roster you have is worth it.
Yeah.
Worth the money.
Yeah.
I mean, and look at how they panned out.
Yeah.
Like how all those people clash together. So, well, yeah, we'll see what happens. I think, I think the only thing that's gonna shoot them is just literally just health. I think they can take on Denver. I think they can take on anyone else in the West, especially OKC. I think there's a bit of pressure there. But yeah, let's move on to the Denver Nuggets. Obviously, they were in the Western Conference Finals. They got to 7 games with the now championship team, the Oklahoma City Thunder. They've signed Jonas Valanciunas. They've signed Tim Hardaway Jr. They've also added like a few pieces here and there. So what do you think? What do you guys think of
Tim
the
Hardaway Jr. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can remember Tim Hardaway is like one of the greatest crossover players, man. I just hope that his son live up to the hype.
Yeah.
But I haven't really seen him play that much.
Yeah, he's more of a spot up shooter.
Okay.
Whereas his dad, he was like a point guard, dribbling and driving. So, no, he's there. He's a really solid player. He's a solid shooter. I think as long as he gets hot.
Yeah.
What about you, John? What do you think about Denver?
Denver, I think they're one of the teams as well, alongside the Rockets, to look out for, because this offseason they traded away Michael Porter Jr. for Cam Johnson from the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah.
And for me, the reason why they lost the Oklahoma City Thunder series is because Michael Porter Jr. was injured, and second of all, they still played him despite having a left shoulder injury throughout the entire series.
I think Gordon was also injured as well.
He injured was it a calf
His
or
calf.
a
It was
groin?
his calf. Yeah.
So, like, in a way, like, he was able to still play, but, like, in a way, it was much harder for Michael Porter Jr. to play on the floor because of his shoulder. That would affect his shot.
Yeah.
And, like, if you look at it this way, if you had another player who could have, like, played the exact same style that Michael Porter would have given the Nuggets, I totally feel like the Nuggets would have went all the way. Like,
You reckon?
I truly reckon. And again,
Oh yeah. But the only problem was what I saw with Denver. Sorry, cut you off. Sorry. The only problem I had with that Denver series is that they had no bench. They really didn't.
I mean,
Outside of Strada and Peyton
Watson, yeah.
There was no one else you could throw.
Yeah, and
in there
you
to
can't
help.
even put DeAndre Jordan, since
He's more of just a defensive rebounding, no offense.
Okay, yeah. So he's got his
He's got
responsibilities.
He's got his own responsibilities, but he just doesn't. I just hate it because with the size that he is, there's no.
He can actually do something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if he had offense, but I think throughout his career, he hasn't really. He's been more of a lob, rebound, free throw type of guy.
I mean, like, if you look at it this way, the only reason why he became an All-Star is because he was playing with one of the great all-time passers in the league, which is Chris Paul.
Yeah. What I think about Denver move, I think they forgot to mention they also brought back Bruce Brown,
Yep.
which I liked.
Yeah.
Although it's only for a 1-year deal, and
It's still I think it works out for both parties. Obviously, they were missing some depth, and
Yep.
then Bruce Brown on his side, he realized I never should have left this team.
yeah,
Because now, and we said this before, had Denver kept that championship roster, which he was a part of that,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
they would have been able to make a run. Now, bringing him back and adding the pieces that they just added,
Yeah.
you've kind of got a similar roster than the championship one.
yeah,
Because I'm looking at the names here. We've got Bruce Brown, Christian Brown, Aaron Gordon, Jeff Green, Reggie Jackson, Nikola Jokic, DeAndre Jordan, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., and the list goes on.
Yeah.
You lose KCP, you lose Jeff Green, and then you replace those players. Oh, and Michael Porter Jr. Now you replace those players, and this is the championship team. This is what
Yep.
won. 'Cause how they won, they won with size,
Yeah.
and they won with Jokic, and they won with Jokic. Like if you double team, he's got open shooters.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So why I say they kind of retooled to become almost similar to the championship roster is because they lose Michael Porter Jr., they lost KCP, and then they lost Jeff Green. You add in Cam Johnson for Michael Porter Jr. You add Tim Hardaway Jr., who will make up for KCP.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you add Bruce Brown back as a point guard or shooting guard reserved for Jamal Murray and or the shooting guard position. So the only thing that we're questioning is the Jonas Valanciunas
Situation,
situation.
Yeah, because Greece is trying to get him, and I mean, like, if you're looking at it this way, if the older you get, you gotta maximize whatever
much
it
money
is you can
you
get.
can-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if
Also depends
Greece,
if
yeah.
you're healthy.
Yeah, exactly. So like, if Greece is offering you more money,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
And in that,
so-
I was told that, like I was reading, he was saying that, his passion is there. That's his home. So I can't understand if you want to be like close to home.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I think that's a big factor.
So I think,
I mean, it's the same with Evan Fournier.
yeah,
Like
he chose to play. Yeah.
instead of playing with the Knicks,
He went back home.
he
and
went back
played-
home because he like aside from the like it's like he knew that his time in the NBA is coming to an end where
Just a role player.
not even a role player, like at this point when he was with the New York Knicks, like they were just putting him on the bench.
Yeah.
Like-
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
like
he's lucky he didn't get put in the shadow realm. You know.
Yeah.
oh my god,
Not
yeah,
the
shout out to the
general.
Washington Wizards.
Yeah. Shout
Yeah.
out to the man. Good luck.
Yeah, oh my god, yeah.
I mean
but,
it.
yeah, but yeah, like if Valanciunas does choose to go back to, sorry, if he chooses to go to Greece,
That's a
and,
big loss.
it's a big loss for Denver. But cheers to Jonas Valanciunas. But
Yeah.
if he chooses to stay in
In Denver.
Denver, well, I think you might be eyeing for another championship in Denver.
Yeah.
But for me, I feel like one of the biggest losses that I wish Denver would have kept is Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Westbrook. If I don't think he's still a free agent.
He's still a free agent. Apparently, he was.
So there was a rumor that he signed with like a EuroLeague or something like that, but he shut that down. So
Yeah, he
he's
shut
just-
that down because apparently EuroLeague was about to offer him a contract that was guaranteed bigger than an NBA one.
Yeah,
So I don't know how
Just
much.
a-
Yeah, I don't know how much it was estimated that he would be receiving, but he shut down the rumors. And next thing you know, news came out that he wasn't going to be returning to the Denver Nuggets.
yeah, that sucks.
And
That's a shame.
yeah, so as of the moment, he's still a free agent,
Mm.
but I'm still hoping that Denver retains him because, like, this season, Westbrook showed that this team is a team that I can fit with.
Yeah,
Because with the Lakers, it was a flop.
Yeah.
With the Clippers, it
This-
was somehow a flop, especially when they got Harden. Because like
Too many
West,
it's too
West,
small.
yeah, he got moved back to the bench, and aside from that, it's like that playmaking ability disappeared. Whereas with Denver, you have that second unit all to yourself, and like there was a game this season where Jokic and Westbrook both had a triple double in one game, and like that says a lot. Like letting this player also shine
Yeah.
on his own way, and like Denver was letting him play his own style, whereas with the Clippers, he was limited with his play style. Because at the end of the day, he was playing with Paul George,
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard,
Yeah,
Norman Powell, and you have
Harden.
James Harden.
Yeah.
And especially if you have all of those guys on the floor, especially with Harden, you can't beat a point guard because everyone wants Harden to be the ball dominant on
Yeah,
that
yeah.
team.
Plus he has more offense. They feel like
yeah,
he has more offense.
his offense bag is way off the charts.
Yeah, he's more lethal than,
more
than
lethal,
Russell
yeah.
Westbrook. Because Russell Westbrook's more of a team, 1,000% effort.
Yeah.
Get everyone involved. Point guard. Whereas
Yeah.
James Harden, give me the ball, I can make stuff happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just a matter of consistency with him.
Yeah, and like especially that playoff series against the Clippers, man, I love Westbrook's energy
Yeah,
throughout the entire.
He's explosive.
That
man.
was a revenge series for him.
Yeah.
For like yeah, this is like
You
thank
can
you
tell
for
he
all,
was,
yeah,
he was
like
playing for, yeah.
yeah, like thank you for all for giving up on me. Like now this is what I'm gonna show you what I can do.
Yeah.
And he actually proved what he can do, and
He was actually playing with
See,
he was a
conviction.
huge
at them,
spark
The
of that
thing with
series.
me, with people like saying, "Oh no, he's washed," like, "Oh, he's done. He can't shoot. He's not explosive. He's not the same." I don't think that's the case. Despite his age,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
energy that he brings,
Yeah.
you can tell that he's just the same guy. He just needs to be given the chance
Yeah.
again.
He needs that inspiration again, that
Yeah.
motivation.
Yeah,
I think.
like the Denver Nuggets was a perfect fit, like you
Yeah.
said, because he gets to be him again.
Yeah,
And at the same time, back to the depth, they just didn't have enough. So
Yeah.
they had to have Westbrook alongside with Jamal
I
at the
mean,
1 and the 2.
like if you look at it this way, the only like the last time I saw Westbrook was still in his prime was with the Washington Wizards.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
that was a different beast.
Yeah.
That season.
Yeah, man.
Like he was a lone wolf alone with
With
Bradley
Beal.
Beal, who just started growing up, like being a developed player.
Yeah.
That season where it's like Westbrook unlocked this guy's ability to play even harder when he was with Beal.
And that's what we say, where like these veterans, they're important
Yeah.
to a young team
Yeah.
Mhm.
because they can do things that you wouldn't even realize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they've been there long enough.
Yeah.
They know things.
And then like for me, I feel like that move when Houston wanted Westbrook, like I feel like that fucked up Westbrook's career, because like he was playing with Harden,
Yeah.
whereas for me, them playing together was never a perfect fit. So I just really don't get why the Clippers chose to have these two players on one team again, knowing that they didn't even work.
There's no
work out.
chemistry there.
Yeah, I mean there was a bit of chemistry like with both of them, but like you can tell that having these two players on the same floor isn't gonna bring you a champion.
Yeah.
Cause like
It takes more than that.
yeah, cause like again you have one guy who wants to make the right plays and stuff, and then you have the second guy who wants to do both, making a play for himself
And for the whole team.
and for the whole team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
they both need the ball. To
Yeah,
do
they-
something
exactly,
with it.
yeah. and the thing is you can't move the other player into a different position. Like they're both point guards,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but like if you were to move a point guard into a shooting guard, that's a different scenario.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of point guards in the league where my only job is to set plays,
Yeah.
Mhm.
make the right passes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
read the entire defense on the other team.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna change me into being a defender and a spot up shooter,
He won't know what to do.
exactly.
That's like putting a small forward in the center position.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do. I've been playing
Yeah.
this position.
Yeah.
You're putting me in open water. Like I don't know what to do.
Yeah. And it just
But
it
I'm doing-
jeopardizes
Yeah.
the,
Yeah.
So-
the whole dynamics.
Yeah. So like to me, that's the reason why I like that Westbrook trade to Denver, because at the end of the day, you actually saw that the Denver Nuggets allowed Westbrook to express himself as the player he is.
Yeah.
Like he was able to show that I still got a lot left in me
Yeah.
Yeah.
to play in this league.
Yeah, he's got heart. Like if I'm any team, I would want Westbrook because he brings energy not just to the bench but to the players.
Yeah.
Like he gives them confidence that we can win the game every time. I hope they do find a way to keep him, even though they have a good solid roster right now. It kind of depends if they can keep Westbrook, it'll be a bonus because you won't have to worry about the backcourt, the shooting point guard position coverage. I'm more concerned now of Jonas staying in Denver.
Yeah.
Because what Jonas can do is he's a post-up player.
Yeah.
He can attack. He can rebound. He takes the pressure off Jokic. That he while he's resting,
Yeah.
he can bring some
Yeah.
offense
Yeah.
compared to DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah.
Like you need to, the point of a bench is to keep the, like, let's say the lead, or just to stay stagnant.
Yes.
So that your players, your actual like offense can
Absolutely,
rest, right? So having Jonas gives Jokic some rest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So we'll wait to see what happens there.
Yeah,
And then just look out. All right. So the next topic I want to talk about is the Memphis Grizzlies, Boston Celtics. They've got a lot of big moves that they have to try and compensate and make. Jaren Jackson Jr. just signed a 5-year deal, and then next thing you know,
he got injured. Yeah, the next day. With the Jaren Jackson deal, I mean, look, he throughout the years he did prove himself to be a really good defender, and a scorer, of course, on the post. But for a big guy like him, like what is he, 6'10", 6'11"?
he's
Power forward?
I think he's 6'10".
Yeah.
He's a 6'10" power forward.
Man, like if you're that big, I expect you to get rebounds.
Yeah, he
Like
is.
that's the only thing that's missing on his game. Like people actually complain about you being one of the biggest players on your team, but you can't rebound.
Yeah. What's the
He
what's the
doesn't-
purpose? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like, although he is their best defensive player on that team, but again, like I don't.
He needs to pull
in
his
work.
end. Yeah.
Yeah.
He needs to put in work.
Because the one thing like with Memphis, I feel like this year they're in a shadow realm year, along with Boston.
Yeah.
At the moment, because John Morant is injured. I don't know for how long, but the fact of the matter is you've got your 2 stars injured going into the season.
Yeah.
Oh, that
So
doesn't sound good.
yeah, so with the roster that they've currently have, they might not even make the play-in, or they'll barely make it, from what I can see.
And that to me is bad management right there.
Yeah.
Because you have all of these caps available to spend, and you had so many big names in the market,
Yeah.
and you choose to
Yeah.
spend it on players you already have. So like again, you spent a max contract on Jaren Jackson, and then you retained Sandy Aldama back to the team, and then everyone else just, I don't know, they just.
And this is the thing that I was talking about. This is the thing, like, they get these big contracts, but then
they stop doing.
they stop doing what they're doing, or
Yeah.
something gets in the way, like for example injuries.
Injuries, man.
And like it's like you're putting a lot of money,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it hurts the team more than
yeah, of
it
course.
helps the fan. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
gives the fan. You're losing hope.
And aside, like, yeah, just to add one more thing, with the Memphis Grizzlies, like they gave away their third or second scorer of the team, which is
with
Desmond Bane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's another one. Like they gave him a lot, like huge money,
Yeah,
and then he got traded. So now what are you gonna do? Like
So,
you
like,
limit yourselves.
exactly. And not only that, like that means your offensive skill set on that team reduces.
Yeah.
Your skill for offense, just became like you added more defense, but you lost offense. Same time.
So yeah.
Because KCP offers good defense, but he's
He's only a 3-point shooter.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's all
Yeah.
he's known for.
and whereas with Desmond Bane, guy was creating shots for himself.
Yeah.
But he just couldn't guard for shit.
Yeah.
That's the only thing like I didn't like about Desmond Bane's game. So with the Memphis Grizzlies, I feel like this season, like it's either they're gonna barely make the play-in or they're a play-in team.
Yeah.
That's just it. But I don't see them being in the top 7, top 6 team in the West.
Not even making the first round. Not even getting past the first round if
Yeah.
they do
No,
make. Because the one thing I've noticed, like with these, depending on the roster, how you guys saw it at the off season going in, plus the trade deadline after
Mhm.
that. Just from looking at the roster, you can tell that they're a playoff team. What I can see with Memphis is, because their star players are out, you've got people that need to step up that are probably not comfortable or not
Yeah.
able to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're gonna lose a lot of games,
Yeah.
and then back to the depth, they don't have it.
Yes.
So if I'm Jared Jackson, John Morant coming in,
Mm-hmm.
just like the season before, do you want to go all out, even though you're not healthy,
Yes.
trying to make the playoffs this year?
It sounds risky.
It's
It is,
risky,
yeah.
not just for yourself.
Yeah.
Because look what happened with the Sixers.
Exactly.
They were injured from the start, both Paul George and Joel Embiid. They
That's
were both, and they
Still
the moment
chose
they still chose to try and compete.
Yeah.
And then look what ended up happening. Joel Embiid's worse than he is,
Yes.
and they never even made the playoffs.
yeah.
I think they sat 15th, 14th.
Yes,
in the seed?
Yeah, in the seed.
So
They
they
were pretty
spent,
bad.
yeah. So the fact that, like I said, when you have your star players out, you've got role players there,
Yes.
or people that get an opportunity,
Yeah.
and they're just not strong enough
Yeah.
that you're in such a big gap to the top 8
Yeah,
seeds that when he starts playing, they have to put in more work,
That's right. Yeah.
which causes more injury.
Yeah.
Because you're forcing.
You're forcing it. So if I'm Memphis, I would just shut it down unless you can find some way to bring more people in to take the weight off those two players. I don't see you guys making any much noise this season.
Yeah. I think
Totally
they need to settle and then just look at the structure again and just readjust
Yeah.
a whole lot of things.
Like John Morant and Jaren Jackson, I hope you get well soon. Just going in, just know that what you have, you're gonna be at risk. Just be careful.
Yeah.
Like it's not. I think it's not worth it this season.
Yeah.
I think we have to look at next season because you can't really do much. That's all.
And plus, again, like there's no point on trying to go all out this season knowing that you don't have the right pieces to be a contender.
Yeah.
Because you got Scottie Pippen Jr. as a point guard reserve for the 1 and the 2.
Yeah.
But he's 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah.
So the one thing about basically to sum up about the roster is there's not enough veterans there. There's no leadership. They're very underguarded. Like they're very small.
They are.
They don't have enough depth.
And not only that, like even with the center position, like it's either Jaren Jackson, Zach Edey, or Brandon Clark.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
And that's pretty much it. Apart from that, I don't see anyone else there in that roster that I can recognize that's a threat apart from KCP.
Yeah.
But KCP alone, without these guys, can't do anything. So
it's a startup team.
Yeah, it's basically like a Shadow Realm gap year for them this season.
Let's stay down there first and let's let everyone clash themselves out.
Let's regroup.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I think with Memphis, let's see how we go with the pieces that we have. Let's see who we can retain. That we can keep, and then we can get rid of the ones pieces we don't need.
Yeah.
Look forward to the season after. So the 2026-27. Let's look from that point on. Because right now you guys are not healthy. If you guys come back, you're gonna end up like the Sixers. Yeah. So
moving forward with what you said. With
so
the
let's
Boston
go.
Celtics.
So now I want to talk there. So the next one is with Tatum obviously being out.
Yeah.
He's gonna be out. I don't
Probably
know
after the All-Star break.
after All-Star break, but fans, hear me out. With a torn Achilles or a torn ACL or anything that's season-ending, do not try to rush these players back. The players themselves, don't even rush yourself getting back. Yeah. Because, let's see, Jason Tatum, Kyrie Irving, Damian Lillard, Tyrese Halliburton, all these people season-ending injuries. Now, Kyrie doesn't have the same injury, but the duration period to recover is 1 year, roughly 1 year. Yeah. People are saying it's an 8-month recovery period plus.
No,
it's not.
Nah.
It's not.
No, you can't. Say that.
That's just to have mobility.
Yeah.
But to be fully healthy,
yeah,
you have to have a full year. That's what happened with Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
He was out for a season. He had a chance to come back, but he doesn't come back. That's why the following season, the year that they won a championship, he was fully healthy because he had fully rested.
No, that's where I have to correct you. The season before, he played for that championship season.
Yeah.
He just came off a Achilles injury that he gained in practice.
Oh no!
So that season, so he rested the entire season.
Yeah.
For that.
No, but the season. Oh, sorry. But the season before that.
Yeah.
It was a season ender.
Yeah.
So that's where, but now that leg was fully healed.
Yep.
And I remember he went to another injury.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is the one that's injured, you need to fully have it rested.
Exactly.
Of course.
Just the entire year.
Just the entire year. And that's what I'm saying. Like the part that needs to be healed for a complete year, let it heal for a complete year.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you risk.
Even if you say it's going to take a year, if you recovered within a year, you still need to. You can't just say, "Oh, okay, you're healthy to play." After a year, you still need to warm him up.
Yeah.
Just start him slow.
Yeah.
Otherwise, because sometimes they get aggravated.
I think behind closed doors, I think that 8 month. Roughly there, it's like the 6 to 8 month period is when he can players can have mobility again. So that's from that point on for the next 4 months after that. That's when they slowly bring him back in.
Yeah.
Because if I'm the Boston Celtics, they've also lost so many pieces that they had to lose because of the luxury, because of the tax.
Yeah, which is Drew Holiday,
Porzingis.
Al
Al Horford is questionable.
Yep, and one of the all-time greats of the Boston Celtics, Luke Cornett.
Yep, Cornett is gone, and then now Tatum's gone. So basically, almost your starting five is gone.
Yeah. Like if you look at it this way, Boston fans should definitely not have high hopes this season, because one, you're stuck with Peyton Pritchard, Derek White, Jalen Green, and
Anthony Simons.
Yeah, I mean Anthony Simons is being redirected. Like,
yeah, I wasn't expecting him to stay.
So like Boston's choosing not to keep him and try to get someone who could be more of an impact to the team.
Yeah,
because I feel like the way I see it, I don't think Anthony Simons is a perfect fit along with Derek White and Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
Whereas like he's a good scorer, don't get me wrong with that, but like comparing him to what Tatum brings to the table, Tatum has the size to score, whereas Anthony Simons,
he's an underguard. Yeah,
he's an underguard.
Yeah.
He's the same size as Jaylen Brown and Derek White. So I don't think you need three guards at the same height to be on the floor at the same time.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a reason why Boston Celtics want to test his value and see what they can get out of him rather than keeping on the team.
Yeah.
So aside from that, like you're left with like you said, Al Horford is questionable, but I saw a post earlier today where he is considering signing with the Warriors, and if he does choose to sign with the Warriors, that might actually be his last team.
Yeah.
Since he's 38, 39 years old?
He's going to be like 39. Yeah, 38, 39 next. No, he's 38 now, so he's going to be 39.
Yeah, so
coming into next season.
Looking at it at this point, it's a retirement age.
Yeah. See, and I think that for Al Horford, that is a perfect way to end your career. Because let's say you do keep him in Boston, there would be no point because you guys are not even a playoff team.
Yeah.
So he's just there, just like a farewell tour there.
Yeah.
Whereas if hopefully he goes to the Golden State Warriors, I hope that's confirmed, or any team that can be a playoff pitcher to give him another chance to, because he can contribute.
Yeah, he can.
He can still contribute to any playoff team. So,
and at least like with the right team.
Yeah.
Like you have the proper motivation, you have the good inspiration to win,
But
to actually play.
One thing I have to say with the Boston Celtics is that you guys have, like, the fan base itself has such high expectations for you guys to get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because for starters, you're paying someone $300 million, and like
that's a lot of money.
That's the biggest
NBA
money contract that someone got.
And
see,
like, go.
And like, in a way, if you're paying this player so much, he should definitely bring y'all to the playoffs.
Yeah, man.
And this is the thing I get from a player's perspective, that you want to try and maximize your talent and get as much money as you want.
Yeah.
But again, we keep saying this, there has to be a give and take if you want to win championships.
Yes.
Of course.
And the most important thing for that is pay cut.
Yep, pay cut for sure.
What Gilbert Arenas mentions, and is pretty much a fair point, is that the owner or the billionaire of that team should be the one to get these players, not the players having to sacrifice their own contracts to get extra money.
Yes.
But let's just put that aside. As a player, Uncle Lou, back in the day, it was the players, they sacrificed money to bring in more talent.
Yes.
And look how they turned out. You can look back at all those teams, your Indiana Pacers, your New York Knicks, your Seattle Sonics, your Utah Jazz, whatever, your Houston Rockets, for example. All those veterans, all those megastars we know now, I'm sure they sacrificed.
Absolutely.
Like, confirm, like, let me know if I'm wrong. But they sacrificed to bring in more talent.
Yes.
Now people are not doing that because, they obviously want to, again, they want to get as much money as they can while they're healthy, while they're young.
Yes.
But you can't have both.
Yep.
You have to be very lucky in this league to have both.
Yes.
And the fact that they're not doing that, that's why this year is a gap year. Along with Memphis simply because the reason why I mentioned both those teams, they both have in common their superstars are gone. They're going to be out for a while.
Yep.
Yes.
And the roster is just not there. So there's no point of view to guys. Especially fans don't expect anything. Don't expect these guys to even try to make the playoffs. Even in the play-in, because you're risking Jaylen Brown and or Tatum if he was to come back.
Yeah.
So yeah, just watch out on those. That's the only thing that we could pretty much say. I think with Boston they have to really, the office just needs to sit down and really look at what pieces they can keep here.
Yeah.
And then think about next season. You have to. It's just the reality of it.
Yes.
Don't try to force it, because if you force it and then these guys try to play, now 26-27 is going to be another season. We're going to come back to the same conclusion that they have to think about the year after that.
Yes.
And before you know it, they're either too injury prone, they're too old,
Yeah.
or they don't have the money because you're still paying these guys.
Yeah, man. You got to be strategic, man.
Yeah. So moving forward now, so the Lakers, they've signed DeAndre Ayton to a 2-year deal.
Yeah,
So,
Lakers, baby.
Let's go. We finally got that deal. I was getting a bit worried. So what do you think about the Lakers finally getting a center, a great offensive center? And do you think it's enough?
I like the fact they got a decent center, but I hope they can bring back that 2022 DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah.
Like that run, that finals run that they had. I wish they can bring that Ayton back.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, because during that time where the series against the Lakers, when he was with the Suns, people were actually saying that he was better than Anthony Davis throughout that series because of the way he was playing.
Yeah, because of that way that's.
But again, you have to consider the fact that you had Chris Paul that was still like showing signs of his he was still in his prime, and you had Devin Booker as a prolific scorer on that team, and then you had Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder, all these other players being impactful on that team.
Yeah.
And like Aiden had that help, where he could actually show his offensive skill set. So I hope that this season he could bring that energy back, or Luka or LeBron can mentor him into going back into being this guy, like having this killer instinct again.
Yeah, I think Uncle you mentioned they just have to bring confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they
man.
just have to have confidence.
And plus, there's good mentorship there, like you mentioned, like the great LeBron James, man.
Yeah.
It's a great support team. Yeah.
I think he just needs to be confident. I think it's a win-win for both. DeAndre Ayton has minutes playing time, a chance to prove himself, reprove himself.
Yeah, man, they're still a top contender, bro.
Yeah, I think he just needs. I think as long as Luka and LeBron can show him the ropes.
Yeah.
I think they can.
Yeah, and shout out to the Lakers for re-signing Jackson Hayes back. He is somewhat, although a good backup center, but I wouldn't say a good starting center. Yeah. But it's better than nothing.
Yeah, it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Because the one thing I'm questioning about the Lakers roster, you've got a lot of pieces there that have no use. You can see from the playoffs last season.
Yeah.
You had your Koloko, you had your Trey Jameson the third.
They need to look into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I think there wasn't anything at the time in the market for them, so they had to sign these players. But now you've got free agency here.
Free agencies, yeah.
But at the moment, there's an ongoing trade proposal to acquire Andrew Wiggins from the Miami Heat.
Yeah, I was reading about that.
Yeah, and you're gonna be giving up
Rui Hachimura,
and
Austin Reeves. Was it Austin Reeves or Dalton? It was one of them.
It was Dalton Koenig and then some
and a pick.
Yep.
And a pick.
A first round or second round pick.
Yeah.
And to me,
that's a win.
I like, for you, is that a win to get Andrew Wiggins?
I think it would be over.
Or is it too much to give away two key players for one?
That's the thing. Let me take back what I said.
Yeah.
It would have been a win if it was 1-for-1.
Yep, exactly. Yep, that I agree on. Yeah.
But the thing is, I think you're spending too much of your current, like, something that works to try and give in something you don't know if it's gonna work.
Yeah.
Because you gotta understand with the Laker fans, you gotta understand right now, Lakers, this is the only season you have to prove that you can win a championship. Matter of fact, you have to win. So any moves you make, everyone's going to be under the microscope.
Yeah.
Was this the right move? So you have to be very careful.
Yeah.
Obviously, DeAndre Ayton is the first step, but the next steps is you have to try and keep pieces that do work without sacrificing too much.
Yes.
Because we don't know what the other player is going to fit. Let's say that let's go back. Let's say that turns out that they trade those two pieces for Wiggins. You've got a small forward. You're probably going to put him at the power forward position. Because I know you're not going to put him as a bench player.
Yeah.
Because right now the Lakers need as much offense, as much depth as possible.
Yeah.
But you end up taking 2 steps back.
Yeah.
And 1 step forward rather than 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Right?
Yep.
So that's the thing. What else do you think is out? What is even out there that they can get? Because I know they've got a small cap space. I think it was like 13 million of cap space, and the free agency market's drying up by the days as we speak.
I mean, they still can afford to acquire some decent names in the market, because they lost Dorian Finney-Smith, and they were trying to retain him, because if you look at it this way, they only got DeAndre Ayton for was it $13 million?
Let me pull
for
it
2
up.
years.
It was.
He was on a veteran deal.
Yeah, he got a.
Yeah, so if you look at it this way, Lakers have the cap to still sign players. Because aside from that, Austin Reeves didn't sign the contract extension. So Lakers have money to play with this season. If Austin Reeves and the Lakers don't agree on a new contract.
So Austin Reeves didn't sign the extension. So I'm just trying to find the contract.
Yeah.
But I know that they have DeAndre for 2 years, but the second year is a player option.
Yeah.
So basically what that says is, let's see how we go this year. If you don't fit, then we can move him elsewhere.
Yeah.
So with the Austin Reeves situation, he didn't sign that extension. So what does that mean?
I mean, look, I just if I was Austin Reeves, I just had a breakout year. I've proven that I can be a franchise player in this team.
He's actually got something to contribute.
Yeah.
Exactly, he does. And the fact that he's come a long way. When he started in the league, he was I swear to God, I thought he was a small forward or something. Because the way I saw him play in the summer league back with the Lakers.
Yeah.
He wasn't producing much, but I didn't realize that the Lakers gave him a chance. As soon as I saw him on the actual roster, I was like, wait, wasn't this the guy that was in the summer league who wasn't doing shit?
Yeah.
And next thing you know, I just see him just bloom from there. He just out of nowhere just shines. Especially that season where the Lakers went to the conference finals against Denver. That was a season where he had a breakout season where he was playing good, especially against the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
And aside from that, against the Memphis Grizzlies in round 1, and in my head, damn, this guy's good. I didn't know he was this type of shifty player.
See.
And then next thing you know, the season that just ended, throughout that entire season, watching the Lakers, damn, this guy can dribble. I mean, the only thing he lacks is, I think, just that one-on-one defense, especially post defense. My God, when people were switching up on him, he was getting scored on because he doesn't have that physical body to guard the post.
And that's the thing I was saying with him. Great player, but he's 6'4". He's
undersized.
Yeah. Anyone who switches on him can shoot over him.
Yep. Exactly.
Obviously, the defensive part that you just mentioned.
Yep.
That's another valid thing to say. That great offensive player, but bad on defense. It just, for both parties, it helps the opposite team.
Yeah.
And it hurts us.
Yeah.
Obviously, look at the Minnesota series. That pretty much sums it up. They played a traditional 5 roster, traditional starting roster, and Lakers are playing small, and you could see how dominant the traditional was over their small ball team. They lack depth.
Exactly, and the thing is with their lineup, they only had 2 good perimeter defensive players on that floor, which is Hachimura and Dorian Finney-Smith.
Yeah.
Because you have LeBron, where he doesn't have that killer instinct to play defense anymore. Whereas back then with the Cleveland Cavaliers,
Yeah.
he had that
I
initiative.
was a
to,
monster.
Like I wanna guard this guy. I wanna make sure this guy doesn't score.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you have Luka Doncic where
He's
like,
still learning.
it's not the fact he's learning. It's just like even with the Dallas and Boston series in the finals, where he was a defensive liability, especially when Jalen Green was on him, or when he was on Jalen Green or Jason Tatum.
Oh, Jalen Brown. Yeah, Jalen Brown. Yeah, yeah.
Jalen Brown.
Yeah.
Like
he couldn't defend him. Yeah,
he couldn't defend him because
doing
like
these tiki-tack fouls. Yeah, yeah.
exactly because like these players were so much quicker because of his size and his mobility, like he can't keep up with these guys. And I feel like that's the reason why Dallas wanted to move on from him because like again they were concerned about his diet, his commitment to
the team.
And like the Dallas Mavericks saw that if we're gonna keep like tolerate this type of behavior, well, might as well look the other way. And that's why I feel like that's why they want to trade for Anthony Davis, whereas they saw that Anthony Davis throughout the years was like people kept like saying he was made out of glass,
paper mache,
injury prone, and next thing
you
you know, last season was the season where he played the most games.
Yeah.
And it shows that he was putting in the work there. He wanted to like be healthy.
Yeah.
He forced to be healthy. He forced to be out there, and he was one of the best players for the Lakers throughout that season.
Yeah.
And now I see why Dallas wanted to trade for him. Although Anthony Davis isn't a long-term player because like he's already in his 30s, whereas with Luka Doncic you have a guy who's still in his 20s. But moving on forward for this upcoming season, I'm excited to see what Luka brings to the table because he lost a huge amount of weight. He slimmed down really big.
Yeah.
So in terms of defense, I feel like that's where he's gonna increase his game this upcoming season, to put the Lakers back on top. Whereas with Reeves, I mean, again, he's undersized and he doesn't have that build to become a good defender, where it jeopardizes the Lakers' defense.
Yeah, it's like a weak link.
See, and this is where I come back to money becoming an issue with them because it hurts. It helps the players, but it hurts the team.
Yeah.
And they're in a really difficult position that it's unrealistic that they're going to be able to compete for a championship or even make it past even the second round.
Yeah.
I think if you had a traditional position, like traditional 5, like you did in your championship roster days, you can make some noise. But the way you guys are currently constructed, the fact that you have, let's say you already have Aiden and Hayes at the 5, you're still missing the 4 position, the forward positions, and you need a solid reserve for Luka at the 1.
Yeah, exactly. So like, in a way, it's either like the way I see it. I feel like the reason why Austin Reeves didn't want to sign the contract extension, just an assumption, is the fact that I feel like the direction of where I was supposed to be the next point guard for the Lakers shifted away.
Yeah.
As soon as Luka came to the team.
Because they forgot to give him his props.
Yeah, because looking at it this way, Austin Reeves was their main point guard, but as soon as Luka came to the team, he had to change his position. He became a shooting guard, whereas his game developed into being a playmaker and a scorer. Yeah. So I think it was
discouraged a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like that's the reason why he didn't sign.
Yeah, the extension.
Yeah, the extension. Although the money was good, but again, as he said, he wanted to stay with the Lakers. He wants to retire as a Laker, and I do hope he does, retire with the Lakers.
It's harder now in age because it's not the way that it used to, where these players want to stay with the team for the rest of their career.
Yeah.
It's always going to be a management thing.
Yeah.
They're always going to change their vision. They're always going to blow it up too early, or they lose hope somewhere down the track. I think the problem with the Lakers is that they've also mispositioned these particular players.
Yeah.
Like, I always looked at Luka as his size. He's a small forward.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, his court vision, his passing is what made him shift to the one.
Yeah.
Someone decided let's shift him to the one.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a great fit in Dallas. I just with the Lakers now. Austin again comes back to us that under guard.
Yep.
Now let's fix that by flipping it around. You put Austin Reeves at the one.
Yeah.
That eliminates the shooting guard to the center being undermatched.
Yep.
And it's just point guard to point guard. And then you move Luka to the 2 or the 3. And then if you put Luka at the 2 or the 3, now LeBron and Luka can switch between the 3 and
Yeah.
the 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where you fix that problem. And then you just add depth there.
Yeah.
But the fact that you've put Luka at the 1, Reeves at the 2, there's an offset there
Yeah,
that needs to be
Yeah.
corrected.
Contradicting each other. Yeah.
They're contradicting each other themselves, not even against other teams.
Yeah.
That alone, you're actually doing a favor for the other team.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of depth there that they need to try and figure out. Hopefully during this free agency and hopefully during the trades.
Yeah. So like they have till they have like what 6 couple of months.
They have till February.
Yeah.
Like 13th,
What,
February 12th, something like that.
So like 6 or 7 months from now.
Mm-hmm.
Because like if you look at it this way, it's either they fix their chemistry up or they move Reeves. Because like look at it this way, Reeves has value.
Yeah.
In like
To
in
get
the
his money.
market.
Yeah. money.
So knowing that he didn't sign the contract extension and he's gonna be walking away, rather make something out of him. So like if you know that this guy isn't gonna sign back with us this season,
Yeah.
let's move forward and see what we can get out of him.
Yeah, because if you look, I think
Because it's stupid it's gonna be a stupid move by the Lakers if they just let him become a free agent
Yeah.
and they chose not to get anything out of it.
Yeah.
I think because the ownership's changed, it's no longer Genie Bus.
Yeah.
I think that's a good move because they now have to start thinking about the future.
Yeah.
Whereas the fans,
Yeah.
us, we're thinking about now. Yes, we get that you've changed management,
Yeah.
but how does that help us win now?
Yeah,
Because we
yeah.
want to win now.
I think the new management, they need to recognize that Reeves is a man of he's got principles.
Yeah.
See, he wants to, like, he actually wants to contribute, but
The management needs
if
to see
you
that.
know, like, you guys play,
Yeah.
like we all play, you know that if I can't do my work here with this team, I'd rather go somewhere else. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Yeah.
And I think management, that's the reason why the shift in management, that they have to build now. They have
Yeah.
to build something now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because LeBron's not going to be there
exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to add.
this year or next year.
Yeah.
Either way, between the next few years, he's not there. So when you lose him,
Yeah.
you now have to convince us that keeping Luka or having Luka was the best decision,
Yeah.
and the pieces that you're putting around him
Yeah.
is guaranteeing us that we're going to be successful in the
Yeah.
future.
Yes.
Because the way that you guys are constructing, we really want to see the Lakers win next season
Yes.
with LeBron.
Yes.
But
And
I think
yeah. But at the same time, you have to also we have to make sure that we're also sustainable going forward.
Yeah.
That Luka is comfortable staying there too,
yeah.
with the pieces that you guys are gonna bring for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you guys are gonna end up in the shadow realm.
Yeah.
But do you think Reeves should be at 1?
Yes.
Would he be good at 1?
I thought him being drafted, his size,
Yeah.
he was a point guard. I was surprised he was moved to the 2,
Yeah.
but then as the seasons later developed,
Yeah.
he's great at the 2. My only problem is he's just not. The defense is just not there,
Okay. Yeah.
both from him and to be able to match up with anyone.
Yeah.
So being at the 1 could fix that,
Yeah.
because you're not going to put outside of Luka as your and Shea, who's 6'6". Outside of those two at the 1 guard at the 1 position, most of the other team's guards are just under or roughly the same size. As
Yeah.
So that fixes that part.
I think my theory is if you put him at 1, watch the dynamic shift. I reckon.
Yeah.
I reckon it would be a
Yeah.
slight improvement. You know.
Because before Luka, he was great at the 1. You can see.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
adding Luka, when you put Luka now, you should have kept Reeves where he was, and you've put Luka at the 2 or the 3.
Yeah.
Because now, if you come back, if you put Luka at, let's say, the 3, you can give LeBron a chance to rest,
Yes.
or you put him at the 4, which I wouldn't recommend. I
Yeah.
prefer to recommend him at his traditional position. But at least you have some flexibility in the 3 and the 4
yeah,
position.
it makes sense.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you can't put, and this is what I'm gonna get into it later about the small ball, but you can't just put a 6'4" guy in any of the 4 position, like in the 2, 3, or the 4 position.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what coaches are trying to do. So I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see
Yeah.
what happens later. But I mean, it's still season hasn't even begun yet. But this is our predictions and what we're currently seeing.
Yeah.
Kind of just paints a picture. That's all we're
Yeah.
saying. So now I want to talk about balance. You know, in rosters, you know, like how to build a playoff rock, a decent team, a winning team.
Yeah.
Even a playoff or championship roster.
Yeah.
So like from what you can see in history, what do you need to have a solid team, like successful team? Just we'll start with you, Akulu.
For me, I think the simplicity of it is look for players who want to win. I think it's just as simple as like, it doesn't matter who I play with. Let's say for example the Chicago Bulls, they acquired Dennis Rodman, and Phil Jackson. He was first of all, do you want to play for Chicago Bulls? And I love his response. He goes, I don't give a damn where I am. I don't give a damn who team, because like he knows his true value. Like he's worked hard for his position, you know. And I think you need players like that. Like even if you ask them, hey, do you want to be with the Denver Nuggets? I want to hear a player saying, listen, I don't care where I am. You know what I can do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the simplicity for me anyway.
Just winning, so as they want to win.
Absolutely, and of course you have to have the that drive. That's all I'm. If I was
Okay.
if you ask me, yeah, that's all I'm looking for. I'm looking for that drive.
So okay, all right. What about you, Sean? What do you think?
Yeah, like for me, if I were to like have a team myself, I would need a player who have that killer instinct.
That's all. That's
thrive.
all you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And second of all, you need players who know their roles.
Yes.
And third, you need veterans to guide these players,
Yes.
to shifting them into the players that they're supposed to be in order for the team to win.
Can you guys think of examples back then that what you're saying is come true?
Come true.
The Lakers is obviously number one. That's
Yeah,
the first thing I
exactly.
think
Yeah, I was about
Yeah.
to say the Lakers, 2010 Lakers.
of. Lakers is the first thing.
Like
I think of.
even like the 2009 or 2010 Lakers.
Yeah,
Like
that's another
that
one.
alone just says enough. Like
Yes.
you had Kobe, you had these veterans all around, Derek Fisher,
Yes.
and Kobe, especially Kobe. Like you had these two players trying to bring out the best out of you
Yes.
to contribute to this team.
Yeah.
And like during that season alone, you had like with the 20. Let's start with the 2009 Lakers, where they had Trevor Ariza, Andrew Bynum, Pau Gasol. Pau Gasol just came from like a couple of years before he joined the Lakers. He came from Memphis. From Memphis, and then next thing you know, like his potential got unlocked when he came to the Lakers.
Yes.
Like he fully knew his role.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, it brought out the all-star out of him.
Yeah.
He was
Yes.
able to become one of the great power forwards to play for the Lakers. And like it's these type of players that you need on your team
Yes.
that, you know, I don't want to be the leader of this team. Like you can't have another player like, I want to be the leader of this team. I want to lead this team. Like you
Yes.
guys should be following
Yes.
my vision
Yeah.
for what I want for this team.
Yes.
Like no, like if you're supposed to know, like if you're not the actual player on that team, like you're not the franchise player or the star player, you're supposed to know your role and follow the lead, like that player's leadership to
Yes.
achieve the championship
Yes.
that you all want.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because like look at this, like just look at this season with the Oklahoma Thunder. Like you had Caruso and you had Shea. Like Shea's your killer instinct, and then Caruso is your veteran on that team.
Yes.
But like still, you didn't see Jalen Williams arguing with the management saying that I want to be the star player of this team.
Yes.
No, you and Shea can Shea can shine on the bright lights together,
Yes.
and you guys did.
Mm-hmm.
And you had
yeah.
Chet being the number 2 pick, a couple seasons ago, where, like again, he's new to the league, and like he didn't demand to be a star player on the team.
Yes.
He knew as well, like coming out of like college or high school, you can see where his play style was like. It was a shift. Like I remember this video. Like like if you can find it, cool. Just add it here.
I'll
That
get
video
you.
about like with him crossing over Curry behind the back.
Yeah.
Crossover then dunk. Like damn, like that guy was. He was a 7-footer moving that quick.
Yeah.
Yes.
Having that mobility to dribble and drive, and he could shoot for a big guy.
Yeah.
And knowing like those type of players, like when they come to the league, they have that high expectation for themselves. Like this team drafted me.
Yes.
They know what to expect from me.
That's
but
actually,
yet,
yeah.
as soon as he came to the league,
Yes.
he became a center.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need you to be doing all these moves. We need you to be on the post. We need you to be blocking shots.
Yeah.
We need you
Yes.
to just like follow where we want you to be, and that's what
Yes.
he did. And like, and same with when they brought in Hartenstein, another role player where that guy deserved to get paid. Like after that New York Knicks season where he was with, where he actually played really great with the team.
Yes.
I just hate the fact that the New York Knicks didn't pay him to keep him.
See, that's where they messed up.
Yep, and like he's the type of player where he knows his role.
Yes.
He like, I don't care if I don't score these
Yes.
much points as long as I can tip the ball back to my teammates, or I can get the rebound myself, or I can defend the post. I can follow up shots. Like,
and I think the coach's ability as well to say, hey, this guy he can follow orders.
yeah.
He can execute. Now, how do I utilize what he has, in order to be able to work with other players as well?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like in a way, it's important to have players that, you know, like they have so much high expectations from themselves, but yet you have to be put into this position first. Like, I can't expect you to be, or nor can you expect yourself to play the way you want to play out there.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
need you to play like this in order for us to achieve the goal that we all want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that team alone
Yeah.
this season, like, played their own roles. You had Aaron Wiggins, you had Isaiah Joe, you had Lou Dort, you had Alex Caruso, you had
Yes.
Kaysen Wallace. Like, these players were all role players, but like they knew their role. No one wanted to hug the ball and be like, yeah, look what I can do with the ball.
Yes.
Like, coach, give me more minutes. Like, there was nothing like that.
That's
And that's one of the most
That's a
important
great
things.
team.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
one of the most important things to have in your team.
absolutely.
That, you know, you have a few guys that you know you can rely on,
Yes.
but you still have something to bring to the table.
Yes.
And for me, that's the team that
That's a beautiful team.
yeah,
man.
that's
Yeah.
that's more than you can ever ask for
Okay.
for a
It's
team.
like like everyone knows their own value, but at the same time, they also cherish like this team. You know? Yeah.
And like, look, if someone shines from that team, you don't see them being jealous of that player. They support that player.
Yeah.
And you see again, like if you can get those footage from the Oklahoma
Oh, I got
Thunder,
you.
like those post game
I'm go-
interviews,
I'm
like
gonna find that.
goddamn,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
every player, like different players being interviewed every night. You see everyone just huddling up while that player
It's
is
a
being
culture.
interviewed.
It's the culture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
And-
actually what I like
and
about him. Yeah.
not only it's not just about culture.
Yeah.
That right there is chemistry.
Yeah.
It's the perfect
It's-
team.
It shows
Yeah.
that there's no jealousy.
Yeah.
There's no that initiative that like, damn, that my teammate played good. Next game I have to be better than
Yeah.
him. There's no like something like that.
Yes.
They let their own players shine in a way
Yeah.
like
They give it props.
yeah, they give them props.
If they keep going like this, I reckon OKC can win.
Yeah.
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 So like
We'll get back to that later.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that's my take on that's the type of team that I want.
Yeah.
So Oklahoma City's kind of like.
But it's like
Yeah.
trying to catch lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
It's very rare.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, just to answer your thing, Oklahoma's a good team. Like, it's probably the best team in the NBA, but like, yeah, I'm loyal to the Lakers.
Low to the Lakers. No,
Yeah.
no, I'm
But like,
I'm
yeah,
the same.
I really like.
There's nothing
I really
wrong with
like,
that.
Yeah,
There's
but I
nothing
really
wrong
like
with
the Oklahoma Thunder, man. Like, damn, like, I like after their disappointing second round exit last season,
Yes.
Like, damn, they redeemed themselves this
Yeah,
season.
man. Yeah.
And like, I'm truly proud of what they accomplished.
No, it's a
knowing
beautiful
that-
thing, yeah.
Yeah.
To be able to come back and everyone gather and say, we know what we did wrong,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then play better and then win the championship.
Yeah.
You can tell that it's a high caliber camaraderie.
Yeah, that's a top tier organization.
Yeah, man.
That's a whole thing. That's a whole
Definitely,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm really amazed on their achievement this year, and like they truly deserved it. And yeah, that's my take on it.
The only thing that I agree with both of you guys,
Yeah.
I would just add putting them together. So you said the winning, they want to you want to win. So that's the mentality.
Yes.
Killer instinct.
Yep.
That's another thing.
Leadership, yeah.
So
Hmm?
if you look at the previous, all the championship teams, all of them, what they all have in common. Again, we go back to chemistry. We
Yeah.
go back to system. We go back to the coaching.
Yes.
It's literally everything from
Everything,
start
yeah.
to finish. So
Yeah.
management needs to get the right coach.
Yep.
That coach needs to have the right system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That coach needs to make every player fit and
Yes.
and mesh.
Yeah.
Now, from a roster's perspective, you need to have, for me, you need to have a traditional starting five. When I
Yes.
say traditional, and
Yes.
this will be the next topic later, you need. I don't want my two guard to be at the 3 guard, my 3 guard at the 4, or the 4 at the 5. You know,
Yes.
and 2 point guards at the
Yes.
1 and 2. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. What I'm saying is your traditional positions are your traditional positions.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a reason for that, because there's different. Obviously, the height plays an impact in them.
Yes.
So I want my 6'2" to 6'5" as point guards. I don't want them in the 2 guards, because that comes back to the Austin Reeves issue.
Yes.
So my 6'6" onwards are my shooting guards. My 6'8" is my small forwards. My 6'10" onwards are my power forwards, and then you got your 6'11", 7 forwards as your centers.
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
you have the reserve
Yes.
bench,
Yes.
which is the backup for those specific
Yes.
positions.
Yeah.
And that, to me,
That. Yeah.
is the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah.
And that's
like,
why, yeah.
Even the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah, the Indiana
They,
Pacers,
they,
yeah.
they all played their
Yeah,
play styles,
Yes.
which that's how it's supposed to be.
yeah.
Yes.
The only thing that they don't have, this is why what I'm saying is that's how you build success.
Yeah.
Because they've got the killer in SGA
Yeah.
that brings to that team.
Yes.
Then you got the mix again with the veterans,
Yeah.
which is Alex Caruso, which they bring to that team. Then you can switch. The thing is, the only exception I'd make is you can have Chet at the 4 or the 5 because of his size.
Yes.
Size, yeah.
Yeah.
But I prefer him at the 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then your 5, you've got that covered. You can just switch between the bigs. That's why Oklahoma City is a perfect example, and that's what I think teams should look at.
Yes. But I think you're absolutely right with the like people don't take recognition with the reserves, because during substitution, the reserves need to be able to keep the tempo,
Yes.
the energy,
Yeah.
and that's. I think you're absolutely right. The reserves need to. They always need to be. They're not just like play the last few minutes.
Yeah.
You know, you need to be able to say, listen, halftime, you're playing.
Yeah.
And then you have to keep the tempo up.
So like Indiana, Halliburton was out.
Yep.
TJ McCollum comes in.
Yes.
He didn't need to be the same player, but he kept that team afloat
Yeah,
with aggression and hustle.
Yes.
We're not asking you, okay, because Halliburton averages 20, we need you to average 20 when he's
Yes,
on the bench.
yeah.
No, you have to find a way in your position how to still contribute.
Definitely,
And
yeah.
this- Players, to me, I feel like the players is not the issue. It's more as long as the coach knows how to fit them
Yes.
in the right positions, the right spots
Absolutely.
to be successful.
Yep.
I agree.
Which I'm going to bring back to now my next topic, and there's a reason why I brought that up, is small ball, and then you've got your versing your traditional positions that I've just mentioned.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, obviously the small ball thing was first invented by the Phoenix Suns.
Yep.
Back in 08, 09, when they had Amari, they had
Yep.
all those like Joe Johnson, all that stuff in the car. And then they were versing the LA Lakers, and then history told you that
Didn't work.
the Lakers,
Yeah.
the traditional beats
Yeah.
small ball.
Yes.
Now, I think we said this a while back. Had the Golden State Warriors, when they first won the championship, had they not won that and or had Kyrie and Kevin had not gotten hurt, that small ball was never going to work. But because they won that way
Yes.
on that year, the rest of the league thought we need to
adapt
to how they won.
Yeah.
And so now because everyone did that,
Yeah.
there was a lot of players all over the place trying to fit. And that's where now players that are still effective, you don't see them in the league anymore because how do you fit
Yeah.
in the small ball
Yes.
in the small ball position? And you look at teams that have played traditionally
Yeah.
have been very successful.
Yes.
Like the Miami Heat is an example.
Yes.
Twice they've been in the finals. Twice they've played small ball against the Lakers and the Denver Nuggets.
Yes.
And twice they've lost strategic and purpose, like because of the fact that you decided to play Bam Adebayo, who's under guard, who should be a power forward as a center,
Yes.
taking on Jokic,
Yep.
taking on Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee,
Yeah.
Anthony Davis. The traditional is traditional
Absolutely. I agree. Yes.
for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't just like follow trends. Sometimes you can. Oh, they're playing small ball. I think we need to play that. And you need someone to say, management, coaches. No, we're playing tradition.
You see
This
that-
is how. Yeah.
They don't have like I think the rest of the leagues, because they see this team won this way. Yeah, they won this season that way, but that doesn't mean going into next season we're gonna do what they did.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there's gonna be people have to change. Like
Yes.
teams have to
agree.
upgrade their rosters, have to
100%.
change. I think coaches now trying to stay relevant, they're trying to obviously try to mimic that. That means that you don't have an identity.
Yes.
You don't have an identity
Absolutely
in
right.
yourself. That means you're not confident in yourself
100%. Yes.
with the rosters that you
Yes.
have. Like, fast forward after that small ball, outside of the Lakers, that Denver Nuggets team I'll bring back again. Mike Malone had an identity,
Yes.
and then he kept playing the traditional, and
Yeah.
he knew what he wanted, he knew what he had,
Yeah.
and that's why that championship run was successful, because he didn't mimic the Golden State Warriors
Yes.
system.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
had a solid
Yeah.
five. You had Jokic as a solid traditional center,
Yes.
Mhm.
with the bonus that he could pass to find open players.
Yes.
Yeah.
And those players alone traditionally stayed in their positions.
Yeah, I think going back to that self-worth, like knowing yourself, it goes back to that identity.
Yeah.
You need to have your own identity because that's how you stand out.
Yeah. And then the Oklahoma City is the same thing. They found their own identity.
Yes.
Obviously, people were just brushing off the fact that we gave away Paul George
Yeah.
for these,
Yeah.
and we got X, Y, and
Yeah.
Z. But there's a reason for that, because they know what they saw the future, and they
Yes.
saw that this is what we needed, and it paid off for them.
And the thing is, like, you need that identity to be able to say, like, to be able to resist changing to like to pressure. Like OKC, they recognize themselves. Now this is who we are,
Yeah.
and this is how we're gonna show you. And they did exactly that.
Yeah.
Rather than being influenced by critics and by judgments and stuff like that. Yeah.
So this is why, this is what I think. Now look what happened. Oklahoma City won. That's a traditional.
Yeah.
Look at Houston. They're not playing small. They're not gonna play small. Denver's not gonna play small.
Yeah.
Golden State Warriors is still gonna try knocking on this small ball position. Good luck, because you just lost. You also lost Kevon Looney.
Yes.
Yep.
You're gonna be a lot smaller than you were last season, and you're not the same caliber team.
Yep.
So, my advice to Steve Kerr is you have to start thinking differently now.
Yeah.
Because Minnesota Timberwolves is another example. They don't play small.
Yeah.
They play traditional.
They play traditional.
Yeah.
So the traditional is. This is a wake up call that we're trying to bring back old school basketball.
Yeah.
The small ball is now getting phased out.
Yeah.
Back to the Golden State Warriors here. The reason, the small ball was getting phased out, I can see,
Yes.
and the traditional is coming back. Now, the reason why Golden State Warriors won on their championship runs is because they're versing teams who are doing the small ball thing as well.
Yes.
And that's where, like, again, if I think back then those teams had, if they're now probably regretting and looking back, if had I done this,
Yes.
have I played this roster this way, they would have had a solid chance.
Same with the Houston Rockets back in the bubble.
Yeah.
Against the Lakers.
Yeah.
They were playing so small.
Yeah.
Like that was one of the smallest teams I've ever seen.
Because the one thing I'm trying to understand about the small ball, because the only thing, why do people do it? Why did the teams want to do it?
The reason why other teams do it is because one, the other team's slower when they play bigs, when they have the traditional five, because you have a 4 and 5 who don't run the same as if you have like forwards who can run and guards who can run faster.
Okay.
But I think it goes more to say for example, they started playing small ball and then it started working. During that time, they thought it was the right thing to do, because they were winning. Hey, maybe this is a good method to have, because sometimes when you have something working, like you don't really look like into the future that this is what's working now, and I think that's why that's the reason why they.
Because the thing I think about your pros and cons with both. We'll start with small ball. Pros is, okay, you run faster. Your face is faster.
Yeah.
You have more. That means you have more opportunities in the fast break or into transition to put up more shots.
Yes.
But you sacrifice your defense.
Your defense.
For that.
That's that's where the cons is. Your defense goes down, and your rebounding goes down.
Yeah.
That's
your second chances.
Your second. You can get rid of second chances.
Yes. Because
you can, again, we're going to use the LA as an example against the Timberwolves. The fact that Rudy Gobert had 20 and 20 tells you that small ball doesn't work.
Yeah.
There was a 4-inch difference from your 5 position to Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
So yes, you wanted to keep chucking points up there.
Yeah.
But the misses are much more higher. That the rebounds go up for the other team.
Yeah.
If they play traditional.
Yes.
Obviously, if both play small, it's an even playing field.
Yeah. It's an even playing field.
Teams have to start thinking, how can I have a better edge over the other team?
Yes.
It's not who has the better shooters. It is, but in some cases, when we're talking about playoff basketball, it's not going to be who has the better. Because with the thing with shooting, people are going to have off nights.
Yes.
Of course.
People are going to be inconsistent.
Yes.
Defense schemes come into place.
Yes.
So you have to start thinking outside of offense as well. That the defense, how can I
definitely
stop the team? Because obviously we both want to put points up on the board, but at the same time you have to find ways to also stop them from putting up points.
Yes.
I think that's why the NBA has become boring to watch, because the fast-paced chucking up random shots, chucking too many shots.
Truly believe that, yeah.
Whereas back then, the pace was slow.
Yes.
But there's a reason for that, because they make every possession
Absolutely,
matter.
yes. They actually have a play.
They have a play for everyone.
Yeah. And I think you recognize that during casual games, that's what we're playing. We're playing a small ball all the time, running back and forth.
And it's tiring. It's tiring on the players.
Yeah.
And that's good that you mentioned that too. The running also equals to injury prone. Like, you're bound to get it because it's fast paced.
Yeah.
People are going to shift so fast that their body can't cope with it.
Exactly.
So that something's going to happen, a rolled ankle or shoulder injury, or I fell into the stands and both my ankles get messed up. And then whereas with the traditional, you run, your centers and power forwards are running slow, but it gives you a chance to scan the floor, use them against the mismatch when they switch, and take advantage of it.
Yes.
It's not bad to go slow. Yeah. Especially if you have the height and the depth. That's what these teams need to understand. Yeah. Especially these wins. And I think that's why I only bring up Houston, Denver, and OKC, because those are the teams that are playing like that. And
they're playing beautiful. Yeah.
They just have to. It's only a matter of who has the better guns towards the end.
Yes.
It's going to be a shootout between those three.
Yes.
All three of those are going to play perfect basketball.
Yeah.
I hope all three are healthy into the playoffs, because these are the three teams that I'm only paying attention to because those are the only ones that stand out.
Yeah.
You break it down, you look at Phoenix, we don't know what's happening with them.
Yes.
Minnesota, they're going to be stagnant. They haven't brought in anyone new.
Yeah.
We don't know what, they haven't added anyone.
Yeah.
Regional running back, yeah.
Yeah, LA's questionable. Clippers haven't really made any moves apart from Brook Lopez, but you need to add more to than just backing up your center. So there's a lot of questions in the West. I'm not even worried about the East.
Yeah.
Because the East is pretty much an open playing field.
Yeah.
Basically, those three teams that I mentioned,
Yeah.
whoever comes out on the West, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
because like if you look at it this way, like that last Boston championship team was probably it's probably gonna be
The only one.
the last time we see an Eastern Conference team get back on top. Because like
Yeah.
based on the rosters that we have now on the East side,
Yeah.
there's no teams there that could go up against the strongest teams in the West.
Yeah.
So looking at it, yeah, like as you said, like those top three teams that you just mentioned,
Yeah,
like,
man.
whoever comes out like from the West, that's it. They're the ones to win it all.
So yeah, I want to bring back. So I want to shift to now we've got the West sorted. Let's shift to the East. Halliburton is out. We mentioned.
Yeah.
Jason Tatum is out for Boston.
Yeah.
The East is very weak going into next season, or maybe even this next 2-3 seasons.
Yeah.
Now,
Considering Boston and Indiana.
yeah, and the Knicks. I think what I can see right now is your New York Knicks, your Magic, your Cavs. Those are the top Bucks, depending on the Bucks, what they do.
No, I don't think the Bucks
No,
is gonna make it.
Yeah, I mean, like, when I say with the East, it's an open playing field because those top teams are injured.
Yeah.
So this opens the
Yes.
door for teams
Mhm.
that we don't expect to be in the
Yes.
playoffs.
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, I know it was a disappointing for this team this season, but this previous season, but like I feel like this is where they're gonna redeem themselves. 76ers.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think this is their
if
chance.
they're-
yeah.
'cause, like-
if they're healthy.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they missed the playoffs, and before they missed the playoffs, they already shut down their players, which was Paul George,
Mhm.
Joel Embiid,
Yep.
to recover for next season. So
And this is it.
yeah,
this is the
it.
season.
So
Yeah.
this is the season where
Yeah.
it's redemption time.
So, because I'm thinking something might happen if one of them go down.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the bad thing about when you have too many big names
Yeah.
in a team
Yeah.
and you've got a lot of role players
Yeah.
Yeah.
who fit them when they're healthy. But if they're not, you have to get these people to step up.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
that's why I'm not even putting Sixers up there yet.
Mhm.
We have to see how we go in the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's an open. That's an open door. So now, for example, the Atlanta Hawks,
Oh, they make good.
they made a lot of good moves. They
Yeah.
got Porzingis.
Yep.
Because you lost Clint Capella. You've got a now you got a center again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can shoot.
Yes.
So it's an upgrade for the center position. And then you've added these other pieces in Atlanta. But you lost Karis LeVert.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, you have the Detroit Pistons who lost Tim Hardaway Jr., but you've got Karis LeVert and you've got a bunch of other players. You got Duncan Robinson as well.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't even know what the Miami Heat are doing at this point.
Yeah.
Like Duncan Robinson.
that's a shadow realm.
Yeah.
Miami Heat's in the shadow realm right now because now they're moving on from Jimmy Butler. You've got a bunch of young talent here.
Yeah.
We don't know how to build around Tyler Hero and
They
Bam
need
Adebayo.
guidance.
They have no guidance. They have no discipline. They have no veteran leadership there now. Everyone there's completely young.
Yes.
All of their decent players are obliterated.
They're all gone. Duncan
Yeah.
Robinson is now the next piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will not be surprised if Bam or Tyler become the next out the door.
Yeah.
Not now, but watch, they're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
be out because we can't build with the roster that we have. We don't know what these players can do.
Yes.
We know they can play hard.
Yeah, but
You're versing how you're gonna face Giannis, how you're gonna face
Lot of big names out there.
these other big names like
Yeah.
Paulo Banchero in Orlando.
Yes.
So Miami's questionable. That's why I said it's open book. So like Atlanta went from not making the playoffs to
yeah,
the top 4 or 5 teams.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to say. Whereas now Indiana is going to probably barely make the play-in because you lost Miles Turner and Halliburton. Because Miles Turner is now in Milwaukee.
Yes.
So now you shift all these other teams up there. So your Orlando Magic, your Atlanta Hawks,
Yeah.
Cavaliers. Your Miami Heat could even be in the play-in, but still in the playoffs
Yeah.
because your Boston threat's not there. Indiana again's not there. Bucks is gonna be up there. We just don't know how far up they're gonna be up there, but they're gonna be up there. And then other East teams have a chance now
Yeah.
because the threats are not there this season. They're all out.
Yeah.
So you're right about with the West that we're not gonna see another Eastern Conference.
Yeah. For quite some time to win it all.
It's gonna take a miracle.
It's gonna. Yeah, I mean, we have to wait till the next season. Even
It's gonna take a bunch of witches, some voodoo dolls, some
Yeah.
black magic
some
Absolutely.
to.
food poison. It's gonna take a lot of food poisoning, a
Fuck
lot
that.
of wrong airport, take them to the wrong airport.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
a lot
it's
Yeah.
otherwise it's the shadow realm.
Yeah, it's
for
the
you.
shadow room. There you go, man. I think there's half the league is in the shadow room right now. I've already named them.
Like you can get all religions to pray for y'all.
Yeah.
Like goddamn, you still want to win it all.
So now, before we move on, the Cleveland Cavaliers, you need to start getting the right discipline
Yeah.
right now.
Wait, I got a quick question for you. Like,
Yeah.
do you think the Cleveland Cavaliers got stronger this season or they got weaker?
They got the same. I think weak because the reason why I say weak, you didn't show up in the playoffs. I don't think Indiana shut you down. You shut yourselves down
Yeah.
because you had everything. You had a perfect coach. You had a perfect system. You were the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
You had the scorer. You had the killer in Donovan Mitchell, and you had the length.
Yeah.
And you played traditional 5.
Yep.
You just lost confidence at some point.
They had some pretty good ingredients in there.
And then you just disappointingly lost in the first round.
to 5 games.
Because I was predicting
Yeah.
OKC, if it wasn't going to be the Lakers, it was going to be either Denver or OKC versing Cavs or
Yeah.
the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of those.
Or the Knicks.
Or the
Yeah.
Knicks.
Yeah.
The Cavs were one of those up there teams. The problem is you guys just didn't have confidence in yourselves.
Yeah.
That's why you lost.
Yeah.
So now,
It's, yeah.
going into next season, you guys should be favorites to come out of the East
Yeah.
next to the Knicks. Theoretically, you guys should be because you're the exact same team. You're gonna dominate as always. It's can you learn from last
Yes.
season?
They need to recognize that.
You have to recognize
Yeah.
where your flaws are. Can you work on them this season
Yeah.
so that come playoff time, you're in killer mode?
Yes.
You can't just sit when you feel like sitting if you're healthy. You have to go in there, give 100%. Because Cleveland fans are now looking at the rest of the East that they've lost. Giannis has lost
Yeah.
all his perfect players. We don't know. Now he might leave. So now Milwaukee's out of the picture.
Yeah.
Boston just lost Tatum. They're not even considered. They lost everybody. Not considered. You guys should be neck and neck with the Knicks.
Yes. Yeah.
And you guys should know that you guys have more chemistry, more length, more threats. That you know that you're expected to come out of the
Yes.
East. That's the only thing I want.
They need to look at each
Yeah.
other and say we were actually doing good
Yeah.
until you know.
Now, prayer health for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the only thing I pray for next season because that's the one thing that bummed me out about the playoffs with injuries.
Just the injuries. Yeah.
The injuries
Mhm.
themselves.
But like for me, I feel like one of the teams, like if I had to guess a team that would be coming out of the East, I definitely go with the New York Knicks, because aside from they retained majority of their players, they also added one good player from the 76ers that played good this previous season, which is
the French guy.
Gerson.
Yabusele. Yabusele, yeah.
So like,
And they've added Jordan Clarkson, so that's an upgrade.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my God. How can I
Yeah.
forget the former
Energizer
yeah.
Bunny. The only
Yeah.
thing about it is the way that they're rostered, the way that they're constructed.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird.
I mean, it depends on the coaching if you look at it. Because
So
like you had Tom Thibodeau, like he relied on the starters to win games, and
Yeah.
like that's not how the system is supposed to be. You're supposed to have a balanced system, whereas you're not supposed to play these guys for like
48 minutes.
40, yeah, like maximize their minutes every game, every night.
And then
Because
look what
that's how
happened.
you injured players.
And then look what happened.
yeah,
When they versed Indiana, those players got tired.
yeah,
You had to improvise with the bench
Yeah.
when you should have done that
Yeah.
all freaking season.
Season.
Yeah.
because that's the whole point of having a regular season. You practice to build chemistry, so
And-
that come playoff time,
Yeah.
you're prepared
Yeah.
to go all out.
See, people need to understand the regular season is not people are like, oh no, we got this. Like the Cavs is an example.
exactly.
They're gonna win it
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
It's not about that. There's just the fact that you guys were number one the year before. You're gonna be the number one this year.
Yeah.
Can you get out of the playoffs?
Yeah.
Is where it matters.
Yes.
You can be number one in the season all you want.
Yeah.
But when you face off in the actual playoff teams,
That's when it actually counts.
can you count?
Yeah.
And that comes from the roster itself and who you match up with. The roster and like the reserves.
Yes.
Yep.
With the Knicks, the reserves, everything's off. I'm seeing, OG, Anunoby, and Josh Hart playing at the 3, the 4 position.
Yeah.
And you got Karl Anthony Towns, who's playing the 4 and the 5. He's mixing up with Mitchell Robinson. Like, he should be just at the 4. You need a solid 4 backup before him.
Yep.
And then Mitchell, and you have someone backing up before
Yes.
him. Clarkson is the first step to reserving the shooting point guard position. So they're still I think they're just a bit off in the depth,
Yep.
in the bench,
Yeah.
but they have a solid bench. The solid starting five. So it's just the bench that's in question. I like the moves that they've just made.
Yep.
They just need to tweak a bit more to tip the scales
Yeah.
off
Yeah.
to be a perfectly
Mhm.
balanced.
But I do hope they do get Mike Brown because
They got him. They got him.
did they?
It's
'Cause, like,
confirmed.
oh, okay, damn. So
It's confirmed. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was confirmed because they came out when the news came out that they added John Clarkson. It was confirmed that Mike Brown's the coach.
Yeah.
The one thing I like about this new Mike Brown as a coach, and all the other coaches, apart from Todd Philadelphia, no disrespect, is that they look at every player, and they find a way to make them utilize every player.
Yep.
That's what Mike Brown did in the Sacramento
Sacramento,
Kings.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
He's gonna do the same with the Knicks.
Yes.
Just be careful because this is a team that he did not construct.
Yep.
So expect moves coming from the Knicks that you're going to see a lot of random players or maybe players that we did not expect to move because he wants to try and utilize what's
Yes.
best for this team.
Yep.
So
Speaking of Mike Brown, look up if you can put up that video of Kobe giving him the death stare.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most
Yeah, but-
iconic Mike
yeah.
Brown moments.
Nah, I think one of the iconic Mike Brown moments for me is that that sprint during practice.
yeah.
Turn the fucking jets
Yeah,
off,
yeah.
bro. That was funny as shit, bro. He was running the fuck out of that
I'm
goal.
gonna find out. I'm gonna
Yeah.
find that clip. I'm gonna put it in.
Fuck.
But yeah,
It was funny.
that's another thing. Like in terms of the winning culture, you got a
Yeah.
coach now. A right coach now. He
Yeah.
just has to fit the system.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna make his own system. He just has to utilize all the players.
Yeah.
But he might not have all the players, so that's why I expect them to make moves.
That's the other thing as well. You have to like your coach too.
Yeah. See, and I think and then obviously chemistry is not going to be a problem. I think the issue with them is they just need the depth.
Yep.
I think all the teams outside of your veteran ones, their chemistry is meshing with all the teams except for your veteran
Yeah,
ones.
that counts for something, man.
Yeah.
Chemistry.
Okay, so the next topic I want to talk about is Cooper Flagg to the Mavs.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you think is what do you expect like of him going into next season or his first debut as a Mav?
Me? Well, first things first is it's
Of course, the pressure.
Yeah, like-
you can't put pressure.
yeah,
but
like that's the thing with number one picks, is that everyone expects these number one picks to show up their potential and be be as good as all-star players
yeah,
in the league. And for that, I feel like Cooper Flagg doesn't have that potential to be at that level as soon as he gets into the league.
Yep.
So my take is that Cooper Flagg is going to be a good role player for the Mavs, because one, his position is originally a power forward, where he can't play that position because one, you already have Anthony Davis.
I think.
Two, look, if you're D'Angelo Russell and going to pick and roll, who would you rather have?
Cooper Flagg or Anthony
Cooper
Davis.
Flagg,
I'm taking
yeah,
Anthony Davis.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I'm taking David
yeah.
Larley. I'm taking Darren Gafford.
exactly. So and especially this guy's build isn't built for the traditional power forwards in the league, whereas he doesn't have enough muscle, enough basketball IQ against these power forwards
Right.
or other big players in the league.
Yes.
So like it's gonna give him some time to translate his game
Yeah.
into
That's
the
all it
NBA.
takes.
Because like if you look at it this way, like one more player that I want to mention that his game didn't translate into NBA's game is Scoot Henderson.
Right. Yes.
Like if you take Wemby out of the picture, he would have gotten number one.
No, absolutely.
But like like with Scoot Henderson, like look, he didn't have that same basketball skill set, point guards package
That he had in high school into
Yeah.
the NBA. It didn't transition.
It didn't transition. So like in a way, it just shows that not all outstanding players in college or in overseas.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, can translate.
Yeah.
To the NBA.
It's rare.
talent.
It's very rare.
Very rare.
Yeah.
Like the reason, like no hate to Wembanyama, but like the reason why he can like keep up with the league is because of his height.
Because of his height, yeah.
Because the mere fact that, I mean, if you look at it this way, this is facts, yeah. Like back in overseas, this guy was playing the paint
Yes.
because he was against weaker guys.
Yeah.
He was able to post up.
Yep.
Whereas in the NBA, he can't do that.
He doesn't do that. Yeah.
Because like
Plethora of big men to
exactly,
play
like
against.
statistic wise, you can see he's a 7'5" or 7'4"
Yeah.
Yeah.
power forward or center
Yeah.
who's shooting threes, and he's attempting like 10 threes a game. And that's not a traditional big right there. That
Yeah.
is a modern NBA big man
Yeah.
trying to adapt to NBA's game of
Yes.
shooting.
Yes.
And that's the reason why he's able to keep up with these guys, because no one can block him because
Yeah.
of his height.
Yes.
And the mere fact that he can block shots because of his length.
Yeah.
So it's the reason why his game translated is because he was born with the natural gift of the length that he has.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
So whereas with these other players, like Scoot Henderson, Cooper Flagg, they have to work their way up
Yeah.
into like keeping like being these type of players that the people expect them to be.
Yeah.
Same
Yes.
with Zion Williamson. Like that guy, he's mostly small or power forward.
Yeah.
But the reason why his game was able to transition to the NBA
Because of his size.
because of his size.
Yeah.
It's not because of his length. It's
Yeah.
because of his size, because of
Yeah.
his body. Because the NBA lacks those type of big men.
Yeah.
They lack like the reason why Julius Randle, Zach Randolph,
Oh, yes, I'm yeah, yeah.
and Zion Williamson. Like if you see these guys play, they're attacking the paint because they're using their body.
Yes.
Yes.
So like in a way, they use their unique skill set
Yeah.
into NBA,
Yeah.
into the NBA
Yes.
that that got them their spotlight,
Yeah.
their
Yes.
flowers.
Absolutely.
So with Cooper Flagg's game, like again, like you see him like a power forward who can shoot, but I don't see him as a power forward who can post up, bang into guys,
Yeah.
Yes.
do
Because of
hook
his size.
shots.
Yeah, and he's young.
And
Yeah.
he's the athletic power forward guy where you can throw a lob and he try to catch it. He's a guy who can give to the corner, shoot an open
Yeah.
three.
Yeah.
But like he's not your typical power forward,
Yeah.
like
yeah.
who can do post moves.
I think only time will tell.
I think, because I think they're putting him as the projected lineup. He's going to be the small forward for them.
Yeah, but for me, it's either gonna be him. Like, it's either you're gonna work with him as an experiment throughout the entire season, or
Yeah,
you stay
yeah.
with PJ Washington as your
Yeah.
small forward, who's been proven to be a solid role player
Yeah.
for the team, who's known to be a good 4 and D player
Yeah.
who can play good for a forward,
Yeah.
a power forward, or a small forward, and who can shoot the 3-ball and who can defend as well.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
I think that's what fans just don't expect. Like, he's gonna have a good season,
Yep.
but don't expect like, oh, he's not Luka. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Duh.
Yes.
That's the thing, like, just because you guys, the Dallas Mavericks fans, got the number 1 pick,
It's
doesn't
not gonna
mean you guys
make
got-
up for it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you
It's a-
guys
yeah,
got
it's
the
actually-
exact same player
yeah.
as what you lost, which is Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
And the thing is, with Luka Doncic, that's going to be hard to replace because you'll never find another 6'8", 6'7" guard with that type of body and with that type of play style.
Yes, the athleticism.
Plus,
and
you
all
know what he's done for that team. You're not
Exactly.
gonna see someone similar to try to take over, pass the reins over to try and carry that type of playoff run.
Mm-hmm.
So I think time will tell, Uncle Lou. I think time will tell. But do you think this year? Do you think as they are? Do you think they can make the playoffs? Yes or no?
Yes, I do believe they can make the playoffs. Like they're looking strong. The roster is looking pretty healthy, I think.
Yeah.
But
that's a question for me. Is the health?
Yep.
For me personally, I think he's great at the small forward because again, like you said, the power forward position.
yes.
Yep.
I just think Anthony Davis in that is a better suited role for that.
Mm-hmm.
The adding of D'Angelo Russell is a great move for them, especially because Kyrie's out. Now, Mavs fans don't expect Kyrie Irving to be back this season, and if he is, don't expect him to be back 100%.
Yes.
Yeah, like
I
as you
agree.
said earlier today, where if these players have these type of injuries, either a torn ACL or a torn Achilles,
Don't force it.
don't force it.
Yeah.
Like take a whole year off trying to
You
recover.
need to. There's a reason why the season ending. So
Yeah. But I think personally, it's very rare for someone to come back.
and then you show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was the same
Sure,
player.
yeah.
They show up
Yeah.
as the
Yeah,
same player. Like look at for instance the Kevin Durant's. We're back to Kevin Durant's torn Achilles season. He signed with Brooklyn the following season. He
Yes.
wasn't there for the whole season.
Yes.
And then when he came back, he became the same Kevin Durant.
Because
Yes.
he was able to
Yeah.
fully recover.
So
Yes.
now if we go to Kyrie, you're putting a lot of pressure on the Dallas Mavericks team to have him back because you can say they're reliant on the big names that they
Yes.
have, which is Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving.
Yes.
Yeah.
With D'Angelo Russell there, you guys won't have to worry about. I feel like you're not going to worry about the play-in as much.
Yeah.
You'll make the playoffs because it hurts that you guys didn't have a solid backup for Kyrie when he went down last season,
Yes.
and that's why you guys couldn't get over the hump to be
Yes.
in the playoffs.
Yes. There was no
There was no depth there.
Yeah.
And now you've kind of patched that up with D'Angelo and Spencer Dinwiddie. I think he's still there.
No, he signed with the Hornets.
Oh, that's right. He signed with Hornets.
Yeah.
So
looking
it's
at
a bit step back, but I think
yeah.
it's still enough for the
Yes.
playmaker to be there.
I agree.
Yep.
That's right. Sorry,
Just
But-
enough.
there's just enough to make. But what I see with the Mavericks, their window is very small because last season you
Yes,
guys
yeah.
look like you could have won it.
That's the reason why
Yes.
Nick
They made that-
Harrison
they
made
pulled
that
that move.
trade because we want to win now,
Yeah,
then try to run it back and see just
yeah.
waste
Yeah,
the
no,
season.
they don't have the
Yeah.
time.
See, if you think about it though, I know we can't go. I want to go back to like just a hypothetical scenario. If you had not traded for AD, you would have had Kyrie and Luka healthy in the playoffs. Because the reason why Kyrie's injured now
Yes.
is because when Luka was gone
Yeah.
and AD was gone in his debut, he had to step up and carry
Yeah.
all the offense.
That's a lot of work.
And a lot of work. And look
Yeah.
what happened. Now he's gone for he's going to be gone for 8 months. I'm
Yes.
giving it a whole season.
Yes.
So now that Anthony Davis is there and you got Klay Thompson's there, they've got veterans there that the window is so small.
Yeah.
You have to win now
Yes.
or next season. That's it.
Yes.
After that, you're looking at Klay's going to leave.
Yep, of course.
AD's going to want to trade.
Yes.
Mhm.
And you're left with just Kyrie Irving on his own because he just signed that extension.
Yeah.
And I think you're absolutely right. They just have enough
Just enough this season.
Yeah.
for the particular time that they
Yeah.
have.
Real, like on paper, if Kyrie does come back, they look like they can make some noise. But
Yes.
only if they're healthy.
Yeah, only if they're healthy. Absolutely right. Yes.
So, another thing. So, you mentioned number one pick. I want to talk about that. So,
Yeah.
with number one picks, what makes him? Does it matter? Do you think? Oh, I'm the number one pick. Does that mean anything
Yes.
going
it
into the
does.
NBA?
It does to the players being drafted, because if you look at it this way, they think that once you're the number one pick, you have the spotlight directly to you. You have the expectations. You have so many chances to prove why you're the number one pick. Whereas these other players, like you say, you're the 50th pick in the draft. You have the talent, but you don't have the spotlight. You don't have the minutes, but you have the talent. You have the
yes.
skill set, but there's no playing time. And like for instance, Austin Reeves. He was never a first round, like the top picks.
Yeah.
But like the talent was there, but no one gave him a chance until the Lakers did.
Yeah.
Whereas with the number one picks, you guys will have all the spotlight to yourselves to prove the entire season why you're the number one pick.
Yes.
It's the same as with Anthony Bennett.
See, that's the thing.
Guy thought he was gonna be a beast, and then it got to him.
Yes.
See, that's the thing I wanted to mention, because I got here right now the list
Of the number one picks.
of the number one picks.
Yeah.
And this is starting from the players that we know. So we're gonna start from.
Yeah, give me one.
So we'll start from. Let's say LeBron James is. LeBron James from 2003. I'll fast forward to now.
Yes.
So from following season it goes the number one pick, LeBron James, Dwight Howard, Andrew Bogut, Andrea Bargnani, Greg Oden, Derrick Rose, Blake Griffin, John Wall, Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, Anthony Bennett, Andrew Wiggins, Karl Anthony Towns, Ben Simmons, Markelle Fultz, DeAndre Ayton, Zion Williamson, Anthony Edwards, Cade Cunningham, Paolo Banchero, Victor Wembanyama, Zache Risache,
Yeah.
and now Cooper Flagg.
Yep.
So
So here I have one more thing to ask you.
yeah,
How many of them, since LeBron James, have been named All Stars?
Yeah.
right. See,
See, because again, the pressure and the spotlight that they have on them, because they're the number one picks.
yeah,
That's the reason why it's so important to become the number one pick, is because you'll always have that high expectations. Like whereas with Greg Oden, you know how people keep saying that he's the number one pick, but he was a bust. Tried again with the Heat, and they still gave him a chance
yeah,
to be a piece of that run of that regular season.
Yeah.
But he just couldn't make things happen because of his
How
injury.
that turn out? Yeah.
Yeah, so like in a way, like as soon as like if you have that achievement of being the number one pick, you'll always have that chance to keep proving yourself out there.
See, I look at the number one pick. It depends on the team.
Yeah, I truly believe that as well.
Because it depends on the team. Like I'm looking at, let's say for example, most number one picks in the history, you're going to a shit team.
Of course, because
Yes.
Because you had a bad season. So
Yes.
number one pick is supposed to help you rebuild.
Yes.
That's what
mm-hmm.
the history of it was meant
Yes.
to be.
Yeah.
You know,
It always goes to the lottery teams.
it always goes to the lottery teams.
Mhm.
Because I'm looking at now. Because look, for example, you look at the Atlanta Hawks getting Zache Risache,
Yeah.
right, in number one pick, but not everyone knows him, and he was a number one pick.
Mm-hmm.
And then look where he
Yes.
is now. He's still in the team, but you don't really see that much production
Yes.
from
Yes.
him. And you're right about the pressure and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
I just think that with the number, just because you're the number one pick,
No, it doesn't necessarily.
you
mean it.
don't. That doesn't mean I'm the top dog.
Yes.
I get it. You're the top dog in college,
Yes.
but when you go into the league, you're versing tougher, bigger, stronger,
Yes.
faster dudes
Yes.
who have been in your position,
Yes.
or probably not. Probably were the number 50th pick or whatever.
Yes.
But they've been there and
Yeah.
they've worked.
Yeah.
So you've got a lot of pressure towards you.
But I
I-
think that I think the reason why they call it's a lottery.
Yeah.
You know, you're gambling. Like but when they say this is first draft pick,
Yeah.
it doesn't necessarily mean like this is the next big thing. But I think they see it as this guy might be.
Yeah.
He might be the
See, and that's the thing. You have to look at the player face value
Yeah.
and the potential.
yes.
Like, we'll go backwards. Cooper Flagg, his potential is that he can be a nice dominant threat in the paint,
Yep.
like an Anthony Davis,
Yes.
or a shooter like Klay Thompson combined.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what I can see.
That's
if
actually
he puts in that work, right? Zion Williamson, you knew from the start he could be a threat, explosive,
Oh
athletic,
yeah. Absolutely.
as long as he's healthy.
Yes.
And then you look at Wembanyama, like you mentioned,
Yes.
he's tall. As long as if he can work on being dominant,
Yes.
no one can stop him. You'll
Yep.
have to double team.
Yep.
Even then, you don't even have the height to double team against him.
Yes.
And you can see Victor Wembanyama slowly he's putting muscle on.
Yep.
So he's gonna use
If he becomes like a Giannis
Giannis,
type of
type of
physical
player.
player, yeah,
Yes.
he's definitely gonna be unstoppable.
And then Paul Banchero, you can see he's in a Magic team that was rebuilding. You now see they're in the playoffs now for the first time with him
being led,
led by him.
Yeah.
So with these number one picks, they're supposed to you're supposed to build a franchise from these players.
Yep.
It's a rarity that you get a number one pick
Yes.
to be a backup to a team that's already winning.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mavericks is probably the only one I can see so far that is the exception,
Yeah.
because they couldn't do shit last year, but this year they have a chance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most likely, I'm predicting now, next season, the 26-27, with Kyrie back, and if Clay and AD decide to stay, that could be a solid, and then you just add from there.
Yep.
Yes. Right.
But yeah, with the number one picks, I think it's unfair for the players. I feel bad for them because the spotlight being on them, the confidence. I don't want that confidence.
But the thing is, there are some players who envy
Being the number one
yeah,
pick.
being number one pick. Like,
Yes.
for example, Jalen Green. And that, as soon as he got drafted by the Houston Rockets, there's a video of him like being interviewed saying that he should have gone number one.
Right.
Okay, so he's actually confident.
He thought, like, in a way, like, he thought he had the talent to become number one.
Yeah. See, I'm looking at. Now you're right. You're absolutely right about the jealousy.
Yeah, but
the
the jealousy.
The
'cause,
one.
like,
Yeah.
In a way, it's that entitlement being that when you're the number one pick, it means you're the best in your draft class.
Yes.
I mean, of course, you are the best in your draft class. But again, there are a lot of other players there that can prove
Yes.
otherwise.
Yes.
Like if.
But
yeah.
I don't like hearing it like from players like saying, "Oh, I should be not like."
Yeah, I feel
that
like
that statement. It should be. I like hearing players who say, you know, it doesn't really matter like where I am.
like it should be the game talking, not you speaking.
Yes,
Like you yapping about I should have been number one. You let your game translate
absolutely,
into proving that you should have became number one.
I get annoyed when these analytics they talk about, oh, you know, this team didn't do well, so they're gonna use we have to wait to the draft lottery. I'm like, what does the draft actually do?
Yeah.
All it does is add a player.
Exactly.
We don't know what this player is.
Yes.
I think with players, losing teams, you look at your current roster.
Yes.
If you think you're a few pieces short, that's what you draft.
Exactly. Yes. Not to rely on the lottery.
But that's the thing. Like, that's what I hate about these other lottery teams who win the draft, like the number one draft, because like they get the number, like the
high expectations.
You know, like they get the number one prospect in that draft class, but like let's say you're missing a center, but the number one prospect is a point guard.
Yeah.
Like these some motherfuckers would actually still draft these point guards rather than take the best center in that draft class.
Yes.
Like for example, let's use Oklahoma City as an example. They just won a championship.
Yep.
They weren't stupid enough. Let's get another point guard.
Yeah.
Or let's get another shooting guard. You've already got that covered.
Yes.
What did they do? They drafted Thomas Sorber
Yep.
and Brooks Bonheiser. I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Yeah.
Thomas Sorber is your backup center. He's a nice backup center for the Thunder. So they know what they need to keep the roster, like patch it up and make it solid.
Yep.
Whereas these losing teams, like I don't make it like the Portland Trailblazers had like 4 centers at one point, and then they just drafted another one. rather than find someone to complement Scoot Henderson.
Yes.
You picked why'd you pick him?
Yeah. It just goes to show that you don't have things organized. You don't have things in perspective.
Yeah. See, from a player's perspective, I shouldn't care what pick I am. Just get in the league.
Yes.
And then
get your foot in the door. Yes.
And
absolutely.
work on how you can help the team or contribute.
But I can say the same for the San Antonio Spurs, picking Ron Harper's son.
Yeah, Ron Harper. See, that's an example. They didn't pick another point guard or power forward or center.
They choose another. The fact that they choose another guard.
Yeah.
Shows that, you know, like in a way, I feel like you guys should have chosen a better power forward or small forward.
And that's where I feel like I think if you added the Portland pick, who they chose, that guy, the Asian one, if they're choosing him over Ron's son, that makes sense. Like, the Spurs are going the right direction. Yeah. But the fact that these guys already have so many shooting guards or so many forwards in their position, and you add more. What are you trying to do?
Exactly.
I think politics got something to do with it as well.
Really?
Yeah, because they favor Ron Harper.
Yeah, but I feel like Ron Harper would have been, because he's a guard. I reckon he would have been better suited in like a Phoenix Suns.
Yeah.
Or like a Orlando Magic.
Yes.
Or someone that needs guards.
Yeah.
You know, these people lack that.
Yes.
I mean, good thing for Utah, they got Ace Bailey, but then that guy didn't want to be there.
Yeah, but
he knew
that's when the Ron Harper comes in.
Yeah,
you have something.
He knew he was gonna be thrown to the dumpster.
Yeah.
Fuck, like Utah was trying to reach out to him, like this guy just didn't want to bother. Imagine like replying back to
and
them.
And that's the thing. Like that's another example of like the Jazz is another example. They don't know what they're doing. Like, what are you doing drafting?
Yes.
Like, what
Imagine getting drafted and you're like, where's the locker rooms?
Yeah.
And then they show you the door to the dumpsters.
Now there's a door that just says Shadow Realm.
But like with the Utah Jazz, like, bro, I don't even know where they're going, because like, imagine that their franchise player is Lauri Markkanen. Like, no disrespect to the guy, but the guy's good.
Yeah.
But like, I don't see him as a franchise type of player. Like,
he's
to
not.
be carrying a team.
The thing is, he's the only player that's
outstanding
and consistent.
Yeah.
Ish. But you haven't added pieces around him.
Yes.
That's the thing about when we go back to building a perfect team. You need to build you have to get the right pieces.
Yes.
But with Utah, Washington, and all those other teams, we don't know what you're doing. We don't know what you're grabbing.
If you wanna learn about like team building, if you watch the Orlando Magic when they were just, because Orlando didn't have a team, but then
you talk about the Shaq days, the Shaq and Penny Hardaway
the owner said we need a basketball team here. Where do we start?
Yeah,
and that's a perfect example. Where do you start? And then they said, like I think they already had a team, but they weren't that good. Yeah. Where do we start? Oh, let's start acquiring. Yeah, let's start acquiring. Let's start from the big man. So they got Shaq, and that's if you watch that documentary,
this is what you just said. Let's start with a center. That's where you start. You start with a position that you think, a system that you think helps you. And you build around that.
It's a key. It's right in the middle.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. And a center is like it's like the backbone. It's like the basic foundation.
Like the Cavaliers at one point, they had Darius Garland and had Colin Sexton.
Yep.
At the one guard. Why did I draft? Why do you need to draft?
Two guards.
Yeah. Well, the Lakers back in the day, they drafted pretty much. You had your Larry Nance, Julius Randle, Zubac. They were pretty much all the same player, all athletic.
But the next few, I mean, like the next ones
you
drafted, you had Lonzo Ball, you had Brandon Ingram, you had.
But you already had D'Angelo Russell there.
Yeah.
So what was the point of bringing another point guard? See, that's the thing with the teams. You look at what you're comfortable with, and then you had it. Don't keep both of the same position. Just get rid of the one that you like. For the Lakers one, obviously there was a clear obvious. Yeah. They drafted Lonzo Ball. They didn't want D'Angelo. Whereas the teams that all these fans are experiencing, like waiting for next season, you're pretty much telling them we don't know what we're doing by drafting another guard to a guard dominant team.
And I think that like simplicity comes into play. Like I believe, like the more you add on, the more you take away from that team. As like, for example, you have great players. Yeah. It's like thinking, I have a great center, I have great forward, I have great, and then you want more. Oh, like this is a great team. I'll acquire more, but really, you're taking away from the team because you already keep it simple. Yeah. You have this great team, but have a good support team, and
See, that's what the Golden State did. That's what Oklahoma City did. They drafted pieces, piece by piece. Yes. And then they build from that.
That's a good strategy.
That's a good thing. But you don't build 3-point guards 3 years in a row.
Yeah. Yeah, you're just collecting.
You get a piece, you build around that. Yes. Parts that don't work, you draft another piece that gets that. Yes. If the free agency is not there.
Yes. It's simple.
It's simple.
It's simple, basic, but some teams, they just like to acquire I'll get all the good players, and to see what happens.
See, the reason why I mentioned this topic is because I want the teams, they need to be aware of these things. As a fan's perspective, we want to see you add to the roster, not just by adding a player,
Yes.
adding something
Yes.
in the roster itself that can make some noise.
Yes.
Doesn't
absolutely.
matter if
I
you're
agree.
a losing team.
Yes.
Just to show us that you're starting something, that you're trying to show us you're trying to win.
Yes.
Because now, if you look how it plays out, Spurs might end up in the bottom again. They're not even going to make the play-in again,
Yes.
Yep.
even with the pieces that they've just acquired.
Yes.
Whereas compared to OKC, the stuff that they've drafted, those two players that they just drafted, you have a backup shooting guard
Yes.
and you have a backup center
Yes.
that already adds enough to Oklahoma City to make another run.
Yes.
Yep.
So
Perfect.
yeah, and,
It's
and
beautiful.
I think that's just something I want these teams to like be aware
Yes.
of, that we want to see the pieces that you have matter, like they make sense to
Yes.
the team that they're going to.
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
All right. So the next thing I want to talk about is, now that we talk about positions, is I want to say we mentioned the Oklahoma City Thunder. Do you think, now even though I just mentioned your Denver Nuggets and your Houston Rockets and so forth,
Mhm.
Yes.
do you think they can make another run next season?
Well,
We'll start with you, John.
with me, I feel like it's been proven that it's really hard to go back to back.
Yeah.
But as long as you have the pieces that won these championships, or yet you bring another big guys, like big name to your team, well, your chance gets bigger. But with that being said, there is a 60-40 chance that they do go back to back. 60% chance that they win,
Yep.
again,
Yeah.
and 40% that they don't.
Yeah.
And
I
the
agree.
reason why I say 40% as to why they won't repeat is because all of the other West teams are going to prepare themselves
To try and beat you.
to try and beat you,
Yes.
because we saw how you guys won, we saw how you guys play,
Yes.
and we saw what pieces you guys needed in order for you guys to win.
Yes. And I
And-
think OKC now has the perfect ingredient, just not to change anything
Yes.
Mhm.
at this point, but
Yeah.
just create more plays, I reckon.
But aside from that, aside from the fact that all other teams are gonna be prepared to try and beat OKC,
Yeah.
like one thing that can beat OKC is OKC.
OKC.
Right.
Because if they
Exactly
they
right.
feel comfortable thinking that they're gonna win it all and then they mess it up, well, that's because of their ego speaking for themselves.
Yes.
Or like if they feel as if they get too cocky,
Yes.
like with the Cavs.
Yeah, the
Like,
Cavs got too
the
cocky.
Cavs got too cocky
Yes,
the,
yeah.
the regular season, thinking that we're the number one team in the East, we're gonna win it all.
Yes.
Yeah, and
But
then
come
look what
playoff
happened.
time,
They
see?
didn't even get out the
So
first round.
exactly.
Yes.
So like in
Yeah.
a way, it's a matter of staying humble and staying prepared
Yes.
and still continue to be better.
Yes. Absolutely.
Just because you won the championship
Yes.
this last season doesn't mean you stop being better and not try to win another one the next.
Yes.
Like, don't just rest your ass off and thinking that we're gonna just show up and we're just gonna dominate. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to
absolutely.
adapt to the teams that are adapting
Yeah.
to you.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's where you determine the regular season on who comes out of top in the West and who comes out of the top of the East, and see how you can prepare yourselves
Yeah.
into beating these teams that you're going to be going up against.
So let's just say they do what you say, like they stay consistent this time.
Yep.
If they come out of the West, they're winning. It doesn't matter who comes out of the
Yep.
East, because
They
there's just no one.
100%.
Yes.
There's just no one in the East that's strong enough on any team to
Yes.
face Oklahoma City overall.
Yes.
Yep.
Because like we mentioned in the past, that they're perfectly built.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The bonus of it is they're built young. Everyone's
Yes.
young.
Yes.
The only veteran there is as we said, Alex Caruso.
Yep.
Now, I think adding Thomas Sober again is a bonus, because let's say Hardenstein wants to be
Yeah.
paid,
Mm-hmm.
you can get rid of him and you can focus on having Sober as
Yeah.
your reserve.
Just
Yes.
have to develop him.
You just have
Yes.
to develop him.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think looking at him, his just face front, his
Yeah.
value, I like his athleticism. He's posting up,
Yeah.
physical. If you can transition that over to the NBA, we've got a problem.
Yep.
Now, the only thing that it will be in the way outside of themselves is if Denver and the Rockets are healthy.
Exactly.
That's the only thing that I can see.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because I think the pressure is more on not Oklahoma City. The pressure is more on Houston and Denver winning it this
Yep.
year, than it is in Oklahoma City.
Yes.
Again, you just won it. It's just being consistent,
Yes.
adding more threats in your playbook,
Yep.
and that's it.
Yes, that's it.
Whereas
That's-
the reason why the pressure is on Houston and Denver, you've retooled. So retooling is not rebuilding. Retooling is you came close.
Yes.
You just move the piece that you don't need. You add new ones. Rebuilding is you blow it all up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So they've retooled
Yep.
so that they've learned from last season. So coming to next season, this is supposed to be the next step.
Yeah.
And if they're lucky,
Yeah.
they could be high contender.
Yeah.
But they said up like OKC. They I've heard a saying once you like winning the championship is a hard road,
Yes.
Yes.
but it's even harder to
re-
defend your championship.
And then I think with the whole new rule as well, with the second apron, that's what it's called, the second apron rule, it makes it harder for teams to repeat because of the salary cap and the penalties that come with it. With Oklahoma City, what they've done is they're because they've started young, they're cheap,
Yes.
so they've got a little window
Yes.
to stay as they are, but if they add a piece, they're willing to pay for it later on.
But I think that's where Jordan mentioned you need to stay humble.
Yes.
If the players start demanding, oh, I need more pay because I won the championship, that's when you're going to have
That's the
problems.
problem, because the problem is now that you've won, you've got your Jalen Williams, you've
Yes.
got your
Hartenstein and
Hartenstein.
then SGA.
you've got God, I can't remember
You
his
got
name.
Dort.
No, Lou Dort is
Yeah,
one.
I think
Lou
he's
Dort is
only. I
one.
think he's on his last year.
You've
this
got
season.
Wallace. You've got
Yeah.
Wallace, and you've got all these players
Wiggins. Yep.
Chet.
that are these players.
No, Chet is still on a rookie
Yeah.
contract.
He's
So
still- But those players that I've mentioned,
yep.
because they've won already,
Yes.
and they're young,
Now
and
they're going to be demanding.
they're demanding because they're still in their prime.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the only problem, that the pressure's on themselves
Yes.
outside of those two teams that I mentioned.
Yes.
So as long as they stay humble, and if they want to win,
Yes.
them as a team, as
Yes.
an organization,
Yep.
they have to come together and realize, look, we know that we're worth this much,
Yep.
Yes.
but if we want to win, we need to not shoot ourselves in the foot
Yes.
by overpaying everybody.
Yes.
But that's the thing. Like, again, so like to add that up, people are gonna like these players are gonna think like that because one, why does SGA get paid like that?
Yeah.
Why does he have one of the biggest contracts in the NBA?
Yeah.
Why is he getting 70 million per year?
Yeah, and that's where
like,
that's the pressure.
Like why is it us? Why do we have to take the pay cut when he could have taken
Yes.
the pay cut himself?
Yes.
If he wanted to
See.
see us get paid.
And that's what I'm saying. Like the whole you spend so much on,
Yeah.
like, because that's the new thing now. Everyone's making, like, the NBA is growing,
Yeah.
Yes.
and then they're paying so much now.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
That because they've done that, the other players are like, why can't I get that?
Exactly.
And that's,
Yes.
so that's where it's hard to sacrifice.
Mhm.
Yes.
So this is why with Oklahoma City, you have your window has now, because of the new rules and everything, that's now shrunk
Yep, it's
Yes.
shrunk. Yeah.
even
Yes.
more now.
Yes.
So now you have this year
To
and
repeat,
next year to try and win another one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not even repeat. If you repeat, that would be great. But just to win another one, you have this year and next year.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's it.
Because that's it.
Yes.
And so it's kind of hard to. I think it's hard to now start dynasties
Yep,
because of
it
that
is.
second apron.
Yes.
It is. The only way you can start a dynasty as if you already paid these players the first year you signed them. I mean, like, if they're like, let's
You get them
say,
at a discount. Yeah.
no, like, let's say you sign all these players on a 4-year contract at the same time.
Yeah.
You got 4 years
Yes.
Yeah.
to win a championship.
Yes.
But then
And like, if you win the championship now, they can't do anything next year because they can't ask because they're under contract.
yeah.
Yes.
But at least if you win, let's say if you do win, at
Yeah.
least Oklahoma City, they won
So-
another championship
Yeah,
under
so
their
like,
belt.
whereas with the Oklahoma City Thunder, it's like, look, I think Chet might be on his final year next year or the next season after.
I think it's this year.
But if, like, again, once his rookie contract is up,
He's gonna ask for more.
He's
Yeah.
gonna ask for money.
Yes.
Hi guys, thank you for watching. If you like what you watch, please hit that like and subscribe, and you'll keep up with the trendy topics. I know we're just starting now, but give us time, and promise you we're gonna be up to more. We'll have more episodes. We'll be more frequent, more relevant at the time that the news comes out. But I appreciate all those that have already subscribed to us. Much love. And yeah, feel free to leave a comment or have any opinions or any topics that you want us to discuss. Please feel free to reach out, and I promise you we'll make it happen. So yeah, I'm Jad Vasquez. This is my brother Jordan and my man Uncle Louis. yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next episode.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.